Hello everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 81. We are and welcome to the Alliance live. There we go. I was wondering why the sound was so loud. Anyway, welcome to the show. As usual, I'm joined by good old Maurice, my esteemed colleague, and also one half of Operation Metaverse with TMoney. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, man?
How you doing, brother? And
pretty good. You?
Good. I'm excited for the show. You know, I always look forward to this every week, and we've got a lot of stuff to discuss. We've also got Avinash joining us as usual. How you doing, Avi?
I'm doing just great. Thank you very much.
Excellent. So, first and foremost, I want to talk a little bit about the most recent event. You know, we all just had an opportunity to collect the Millennium Falcon. How did you guys fare?
I fared very well. I got... I know that a lot of you guys know that I play more than one account. So out of the 6 accounts, I got 5 7-stars and 1 5-star.
What about the other 15 accounts you have?
I actually had more. I actually had more accounts, and I recently just gave away 3 accounts.
Well,
so I'm only down to 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Your brain thanks you.
It does. Honestly, it does.
But
well, I got my 5-star. I need 12 more shards for the 6-star IG-2000. So I hope I get 12 shards and 3 more refreshes, 3 days. So yeah, I'll have a 6-star. No 7-star for me, not this time.
Yeah. I'm actually not going to unlock the ship, and it's disappointing. It's the first ever legendary Hero's Journey character that I didn't get the first go around ever. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed about it. It's something that you know, I guess a lot of people kind of expected that I would go and spend the money to do it, but I was really that far behind that it didn't make any sense. I would have had to get the 2 ships. I mean, I have the 7-star Houndstooth and Slave 1, but I would have had to get the Xanadu blood, and you know, the IG 2000, or is it the IG 2000? Is that the name of it? IG, yeah. I would have had to. I would have had to get that ship from 3-star to 5-star, which, I mean, you know, it's something I've contemplated. I'm actually going to do the nodes on the event that I can right now. So we'll do that on the show here while we're talking about it. But how do you like it so far, Maurice? I mean, what do you think about it?
It's it's the Revan of ships. It just absolutely, my Akbar fleet absolutely destroys every single team that I face with a 5-star Millennium Falcon with no Omegas in it. So it's going to be something else. It was very, very difficult in TW this time. A lot of Millennium Falcons we saw. It doesn't matter. I mean, the ship's brand new. So we got a brand new meta, and the meta's already arrived in my shard. Everyone switched out their Mace fleets immediately, and there is just a wall of Akbar all the way up. So it's game changing. It just renders the Houndtooth just worthless. A, you can now kill it, and B, you just dispel it every turn. You know, as long as there's no breach. So there's not really. I mean, I guess maybe if you have like really gone all in on the first order ships, those might help you. I mean, if you for some reason have a 7-star B2 bomber with the pilot gear 12 with 60 mods on it, that ship's going to help you. But I don't think. I mean, I don't have it. I don't imagine too many people have that ship ready to go. Yeah, it's bonkers.
Well, I'm excited to get it eventually, and I am going to start farming these ships over the next couple months and try to get it ready to go. How about you, Abby? How'd you fare with the? Or what do you think about the ship so far?
I like it. From what I understand, there's a little bit of a bug in regards to being targeted. I can't remember the exact details. Something about that it's not supposed to be targeted or something. I don't remember what it was. But in any case, I've been running some Akbar ships, and I've been playing around with a couple of compositions. And before I kind of found my niche, I had dropped like from number 5 down to like 61. I think everybody decided to kind of hit each other all on the way up. So I'm making my way back up to the top 10, and with what I've got, and I think I've figured it out, and I can pretty much auto everything right now, and it's just fun to watch.
Yeah, we're going to take a look in a little bit at the impact that the Millennium Falcon has made on the meta when we look at the meta report a little bit later for ships. So overall, is it the best ship in the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think so.
And do you believe that it's going to? Do you believe that there's going to be, basically a counter to this, or do you think that this is basically going to be it for the next, year or 2 years? I mean, it's the best. I mean, it's the most anticipated ship in the game ever, right? So I mean, it's got to be the best ship.
Well, it is the best ship, but I mean, a lot of guys in the chat, Ronan and DSP both saying Cassian comes in, MILF dies. Cassian does come in and dispel everything, including the outmaneuver. So I mean, they will come in. Everybody at my shard is running it in their starting fleet. So you do have quite a few ships that are quicker than the Hans Millennium Falcon. Kylo Cruz Silencer being the main one. I mean, you can just come in and stun the ship first move. Of course, it's a potency tenacity roll, but you come in there and stun that Hans Falcon with your silencer. I mean, the rest of the rebels really aren't that scary without Hans just fueling them. That's why they haven't been in the meta. That's why we don't see so many Pistons, U-Wings, and Cassian's ships running around. Like, we do see some Phoenix. But, I mean, who runs Piston besides me? I love Biston just because
I do. I've got Biston in my starting lineup.
Oh, he is now. He's borderline required for the best fleet now. At least
Right,
now,
right.
With best rebel fleet, maybe not the best fleet overall.
I love
I'll tell you what, you're doing this event. It's interesting. We see one of the rebel pilots flying that. They're flying two different new designs of ships altogether. So I don't know.
That's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're the lore expert. I mean, are there any significant ships in the lore that have the same design as those two ships we just saw there? They could just maybe paint a different color and play it off as a different ship.
Yeah, let's take a look at it here. Hold on. Let me just pull up the next tier here. This will be the last tier I'll be able to do. So that on the right is a Y-wing. On the left, it's a B-wing. So the B-wing, honestly, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that ran a B-wing, but I mean, bear in mind that they have the ability to just create generic characters. I mean, we have Resistance Trooper, you know, Resistance Pilot. We don't have Rebel Pilot. We don't have, you know, any character like that. So we could easily get a generic Rebel character at some point, like Rebel Pilot, for example, or Rebel Trooper that could pilot one of these ships. It doesn't have to be like a face character. They haven't.
I'll tell you what; those rebel pilots in TB are the real deal. Those guys are the ones you try to kill first, because they'll just cleanse and 100% heal your whole team, like Akbar with the helmet. You know.
What are your thoughts about Vader's capital ship?
Well, I mean, lazy. I don't know. It was cool. It's cool to see, even though it was the same as Tarkin's.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, it seemed like it was a pretty lazy ship.
I kind of like that while you're doing this, that you have two other Star Destroyers like right next to it, like kind of floating there in mid space. It's actually really cool. The map is cool. I don't know what planet they're fighting over. Is this Geonosis?
Oh, I don't know. You'd think it'll probably get added to the rotation eventually.
They probably will. I'm wondering, because I mean, Vader did have a Star Destroyer, so I'm wondering if they're ever going to actually bring that into the game at some point. It should be. I mean, like, you know, I mean, he's... Yeah, Palpatine had a Star Destroyer too, though. So, I mean, they could go... Well, I mean, eventually, at some point, they got to stop with the Star Destroyers. So, I guess that... you know, there's not a lot of options because, you know, otherwise every capital ship in the game would be Empire.
Right.
So, I got 75 Millennium Falcon shards. So, I would need... let's see, how many more shards do you need to get the ship to 5 stars?
It's the same as like the Yoda or the Palpatine event.
Right, so I would need 65 and then 8. No, I would need 30. Right? I would need 30 more shards and then 65. So I would need 95 shards for each ship. And how much do you get for the pack? Like if you buy the pack, let's see.
I think it's $7 or $8.99, and you get. But you know, it's if you've already got Houndstooth and the Slave One, it's pretty much a coin flip whether or not you even get the shards you want, and then it's, you know, another RNG roll. You're most likely going to probably get what, 7, or that's the way it was for characters, 7 or 7 or 8 or so was the average.
So I would, for $59, I would get 55 shards for both the Xanadu Blood and the IG-2000. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know there was a bundle like this. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So besides that, so 55 would put me about 40 shards away for each of the ships to getting it to 5 stars and unlocking it. So I mean, that's something to think about. I mean, at the end of the day, that's probably closer to maybe, let me see, $7.99.
you're also going to be spending. You'll probably have to spend 600-700 crystals just refreshing your energy and refreshing those hard nodes 3 times a piece, maybe more. So I mean, if you get that pack, you're still looking. I mean, you'll drain your 2,000 crystals there in 2 days just trying to get them. 40 shards in 3 days is a lot.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying is probably for about $150, right? If I spent, no, you know what? No, it would probably cost a straight vault to get the 50.
That's kind of the point I was making. If you buy that $60 pack, you're going to need at least a $50 pack to finish it off with the shipments and or the refreshing.
Probably more than that, because even if you buy the $50. No. How many shards can you get? You can get 10 to 100. No, so 10 is the minimum.
Oh, and since you already have 2 of those ships, I would just refresh the nodes 3 times a piece. Just cross your fingers and refresh your energy.
So don't do it that way. Just buy the bundle and then just.
If you were going to buy, all I'm saying is if you're considering this bundle, the ultimate pack bundle, not the faction pack. If you're considering the ultimate bundle, I would go ahead and mentally prepare myself to spend another $50 as well.
Right.
You might not spend all the crystals. You won't spend all the crystals, but you're gonna need more than $20 worth. Was it 2,800? You'll need more than that. So,
yeah.
I mean, you could get lucky. I'm not trying to discourage you or encourage you. I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm trying to be lame, I guess. So.
Right. I'd have to basically spend the $60, then farm for the next 3 days, and just try to get as close as I can. And then when I get to the last day, I'd have to probably buy a couple packs.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to think. You're gonna have to refresh that both ship nodes. It's 25, 50, and 100, I think, to refresh them. Like to actually get another 8, and then you're gonna have to spend probably 50, 100, probably at least 4 refreshes to get everything done. So that's every day for the next 3 days. That can add up. And then of course, if you got bad RNG, you're refreshing the shop, looking at shipments, trying to pull that last 4 pack. Just trying to. I hate for you to buy that pack and then come up short and just have the ultimate buyer's remorse,
How hard is it when you get to the 5-star part of the event? I mean, is it like...
Oh, super easy. It's easy.
Yeah. It's so easy. So
yes.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like I have to worry about... like gearing up the characters or putting Zetas on them or anything like that. Okay, so
you've been playing since ship's release. I'm going ahead and I'm pretty confident whatever you have is probably good enough. You probably have at least a Gear 10 Wedge and Biggs, don't you? I'm saying like you got the characters.
Yeah.
I mean, you're good.
So as far as that goes, I think my characters are Gear 11, all those Rebel characters. But I mean the other characters, like for example, IG88, I have him at Gear 11, and my Bossk is Gear 12, and my Xanadu Blood, my Cad Bane is Gear 11, so they should be enough to do that.
Yeah, that's not a problem to get through the event, not at all. You're fine.
Yeah. All right, I mean, it's something I'm going to think about. I'm not going to do it right now, obviously. I mean, it's I'm going to probably consider it.
I'd sleep on it, man. When I came in here tonight, it was like, oh, it's the best shit. I'm not trying to like scare you into buying.
No. Honestly,
just like
I made a conscientious decision to not do it because I felt like it was one of those things where it's not going to. I don't think it's going to be such a game changer for my guild where it's going to be like a problem for me to worry about. Like, I don't think I'm going to have to... Okay, let me see something here. Something's wrong with the screen froze.
All right. I think I'm moving on the screen again. Just sitting here dancing like a fool. All right.
I think
Dance, Maurice, dance. Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yep, it's working now. Yep, you're good to go.
All right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, no, the screen froze, and then I had to like step out for a second so I could like unfreeze in OBS. But yeah, so I mean, I made a decision to not do it because I felt like if it was really going to help my guild, then I would make the investment to do it. But I don't think it like. Unless we get a Death Star raid tomorrow and I need the Millennium Falcon for it, I don't think it's going to really hurt my team to not have it for the next couple months. You know, I mean, I think that I'll be okay probably until the event returns without having it. And, you know, again, I could be wrong. I mean, they may release some sort of ship content over the next couple months that I may need to have the ship for. And, I mean, hopefully that's not the case, but if they do, yeah, I'm definitely going to make sure I'm prepared for it the next time. And I mean, what I'm curious about is, you guys are both, you know, pretty competitive in ships. How many Millennium Falcons are you seeing at the top of your ship arena? Is it like, I mean, are you seeing, is it like top 20 are all Millennium Falcons, or?
Yes.
Mine is, yes.
Mine is, yes.
It's. I tell you what, those of you guys that went all in on the Phoenix, it really does make a difference. Like the hardest guys to beat on my shard are those guys with the all gear 12 Ghost with a couple Zetas on it, just right in the front line. My Ghost, I've got a Zeta on it, 1 gear 12 and 2 gear 11s. Pretty good Ghost. It just cannot take. It's just that extra oomph that really developed Ghost has. Just kind of eats my Ghost alive. Like if my Ghost, I've got a good Rebel team. If my Ghost doesn't assist on like the initial Akbar move, he's got no protection up, he's kind of a sitting duck. Like he's done. I don't even know. I really probably shouldn't even use him against those teams. But you know, those you guys that went into Phoenix, you're gonna be glad you did. It's gonna pay off here in game for the first time probably in quite some time. So. Somebody asked in the chat, because it's on my mind. You know, if you guys are developing these Rebel ships for your new Millennium Falcon, and you're looking at a Gear 7 Biston and a Gear 7 Scarecrow Pathfinder, they take tons of gear. Focus on the Pathfinder first. A, he's a better character, and B, his ability is the speed and the turn meter gained when you target lock an enemy. His ability is the important one, so you really want to get him to gear 11 probably first. That way you can max it all the way out, because that 25% speed and I think it's 35% turn meter a random ally gets when you target lock. There's a lot of target lock. You got Han, you got Biggs, you've got Biston itself who can target lock, you got Phantom, a lot of target lock mechanics on the Rebel team. So that move, that ability really is the one you should focus on.
So I wanted to move on to the next topic. The next topic I wanted to discuss is Darth Malak. Okay, so the next big thing, I guess, now after this Millennium Falcon event is going to be, are we getting any event from these KOTOR characters? So we have all these new Old Republic characters. Now we have quite a few Old Republic characters in the game. There's actually 10 now in the game. Are we getting an event including the other 5? So obviously we had the Hero's Journey with Bindo, Bastila, Mission Vow, Zalbar, and T3. Are we now going to get an event for another character? Some people have speculated Darth Malak. Some people are speculating it's going to be Darth Revan. You know, are we going to get another event including Bastila, Juhani, Canderous, Cartho Nassi, and possibly either HK-47 or Jedi Knight Revan himself? What do you guys think?
I hope it's not too soon, because I think a lot of people are still recovering from the end of this last year with all those events and stuff that came out and just basically got piled onto us at the end of the year. And I think people are still recovering from that. But I think that there is going to be something in the near future, whether it be Darth Revan or Malak. Okay. It'd be interesting to see. I really hope they wait just a little bit because, you know, a lot of people just need to catch up a lot, especially the free-to-play players.
I mean, what do you think, Maurice?
I'm looking here. Are we missing a fifth? We got Karth, Giovanni, Kandris, and we got Fallen Basilisk. Is there a fifth one I'm just forgetting about?
There isn't a fifth. There isn't a fifth one that came out. That's why people are wondering whether it's going to be like Revan or HK or maybe some.
I think Malak. I think it's going to be Malak. I think Malak's going to be the marquee.
Okay, I
really do. And then, you know, either we could use all these characters to get the Darth Revan, or who knows? I don't. It's not very CG like to just completely mimic. So, you know, like we got these first 5 Old Republic, and then we get light side Revan. It's, you know, they like to keep us on our toes and switch things up. Yeah, I find it almost too predictable to just farm these 5 Old Republic characters in the same timeline and then get an identical hero's journey. You know, this time all of us are prepared for it, and let's be real, they made a fortune on light side Revan, right? So, you know, if all of us are prepared for the dark side Revan, I don't think they're gonna make nearly as much, and so I think they'll keep us on our toes. Maybe you have to use just a select few of them and unlock something like the Ebon Hawk. You know, that's an option, I guess. You've got all the pilots sitting right here in the Old Republic, you know, tagged. I mean, all the characters you use in the game are right here, so that could be something, the direction they go. Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like it's not going to be Darth Revan, right? I mean, I think that Darth Revan is going to be obtained by Sith characters.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be Malak, like you said, and I think that the fifth is going to be Revan, and let me tell you why. Okay, and I mentioned this on the Jedi Academy stream on Saturday, and that's that there is obviously going to be some sort of a need to grind 2 of these characters. So Juhani and Cartho Nassi are going to be the major grind. Okay, you're going to need to get them done before the event starts, and that's what they're going to go for, is that short panic farm. And they'll re-release the Revan event again right before the event starts, so that people have a chance to get Revan again, and that people that aren't done with Revan are going to now have to farm a total of, you know, possibly 9 characters to get this done, because there's going to be people that are still panic farming to get Revan, newer players, people that are still behind on Mission Vow, Basilisk, people who find out that Malak is coming to the game and they just really want Malak, and let's say they just didn't, they weren't necessarily going crazy, you know, for these characters, thinking that the Revan event's not coming back for a while. I think the Revan event comes back maybe next month, and what ends up happening is they have to farm now Bastila, Jolie, Mission, Zalbar, and T3 to get Revan, and then Revan will be a component for the Malak event out of the other 5. I don't foresee them using HK-47, a character that everybody has already that's farmable from the Squad Arena shipments, to be that character. I think that that's too easy. You know, some people are saying that maybe they'll just make it hard. I don't think so. I think that this is going to be one of those panic farm situations. I think you're going to have to get Karth and Juhani very fast, and I think that Revan will be the 5th. That's my opinion. But I mean, who knows?
You know, we've been waiting on Darth Malak and speculating Darth Malak. I mean, not just here on this show, but the entire community for months now. Even when they very first released the original batch of Old Republic characters, we were like, Malak. Malak could be, you know, potentially like a carrot kind of that they just keep, you know, dangling in front of us, and just we might not even get Darth Malak. It might be some insignificant character that completes the faction, and then maybe, you know, we'll sit on them. And kind of like that the Han Solo characters. Remember they released that pack for the Han Solo bundle,
right?
Uh-huh.
And this is before we realized that you're only going to need them for the 2-3 times a month scoundrel smuggler event, right? Like, I mean, everyone was kind of respecting like Beckett and all those other characters, you know. So that, I mean, they could just kind of not do anything at all with these characters, just kind of trick us.
You're absolutely right, and that's totally a thing. I mean, they're definitely going to try to be a little bit tricky with it and maybe do something that we don't expect, I think. But Because
I'm refreshing energy an extra time a day to hit all these new nodes. You know, I'm refreshing my cantina for the first time in weeks now, 3 times a day to get Canderous, just in case. Just in case. You know, they'll make their money on the just in case without ever having an actual event. Just like they've.
No, you're right.
So.
You're right. I mean, and that's kind of the thing. It's just in case, but I mean, what if it really happens? And what I'm saying is, I think that I don't know. I feel like it's been speculated too much for it to actually be Malak. Like, I mean, like they would be basically. I don't know, but then again, you know, I guess, you know, people were expecting Revan and it was Revan, so I mean, they're not going to change their plans based on speculation, but it's like everybody thinks it's going to be Malak, right? So I mean, it's like, you know, it seems like too obvious of a choice for it to actually be Malak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it would be that would be too easy of an answer, you know, in my opinion. But I mean, you know. What node is Canderous again? Is he in 7 or?
He's in 5. It's a 12 energy node.
Yeah.
Which I am personally really, really excited for him. I think he's awesome. I really do. But he's not going to be. He's probably going to be one of those good old Maurice characters, you know, like Chopper, in like these characters I really like because they really fit my play style, the mods I've invested in. You know, it's. Because he gets that 8% turn meter every time an enemy with a dot is damaged. And if you use him even under like a Vader lead or just like an AoE heavy team, you know, you've got the Old Republic characters have lots of AoE. They have, you know, T3 has an AoE, you know, Zalbar has an AoE, Karth has an AoE, Juani has an AoE, you know, so just constantly every time they go, they can feed him up to 40% turn meter every time they take a turn. So you just build slow and hit super hard or slow and super tanky. He's gonna be fun. He's not gonna need speed mods. So if you are falling behind in the speed game, he might be a character you're interested in. He's very easy to gear once you get over that gear 9 hump. I found that out. I've put that last stun cuff and carbonate on him. I just breezed through all the way to 11. So.
Oh, that's good.
He's definitely like a character that is going to be like a sandbox character. I mean, like you'll be able to play. I mean, a lot of people are already thinking about, you know, dot teams with him. You know, using like Vader and, you know, Wampa and things like that. And you know, there's a lot of different ways you can go with it. I think he's going to be interesting behind the Karth Onasi lead. I think that team is going to be interesting. I think like, you know, Karth Onasi, Canderous, possibly Mission and Zalbar, and I mean, I don't know what the 5th would be there. I mean, maybe it's Revan, maybe it's somebody else, maybe it's I don't think it's Juhani.
Well, the problem, Juhani is kind of in there just by default, right? Just because you have no cleanse whatsoever out of those 4 characters.
Right.
And so that's the only reason I'm even considering her. It has nothing to do with her kit at all, except that she has an AoE cleanse. That's really the only reason I'm thinking about taking the plunge in her gear-wise. Just I'm out of cleansers. I don't have any just like leftover cleansers hanging out without a home. You know, there's not very many of them.
Right.
So,
well, I think that there's going to be some interesting combinations with Juhani and the Jedi. You know, and that's something that I've been, you know, I think you and I have both been talking about for a little while since the character dropped. Is, you know, is she going to be, you know, a replacement for Kenobi on a Jedi team? And you know, I mean, I don't know if she'll necessarily be as good as Kenobi, but I think that she'll have, you know, her benefits in other ways. You know what I mean? So I don't know, it's something to think about. I mean, let me see here. It's something to think about. I think that she'll be like a modest addition to the Jedi team. I don't know if, you know, anything's ever gonna be you know, a better option than Kenobi, at least for right now. She does have an interesting. I mean, her taunt is what, 3 turns or 4 turns or what is it?
Let me look. I'm not sure, but I know it's only got like a one turn in between. So like when the taunt expires, let me look here before I just start talking about my rump. It's okay. Yeah, taunts for 4 turns and stuns a target enemy for 1 turn, and it's on a 4-turn cooldown. So if it doesn't get dispelled, as soon as her taunt naturally expires, she can use that move right away again, that's a pretty good trait to have as a character. Like the problem, like Stormtrooper Han, like, you know, he taunts and you're like, yeah, but then it expires and he does nothing for 2 turns until he can taunt again. You know, he just like sits there and does, you know, silly damage and has a slight chance to remove turn meter. Like it's not. So that's an interesting thing. She does have AoE stagger, like takedown games. That is excellent ability.
I was thinking of I was using her a little bit on one of my accounts on a Bastila team.
That is the first time I've ever lost to a CLS team on offense ever. I can't believe that just actually happened. Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, under Bastila is interesting because you know you want to build your characters like health based anyway. Under Bastila, and she just her unique just naturally gives her every time she takes turn 20% max health recovery. That's crazy. Just here, it's your turn. Go ahead and get 20% health back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I was having a little bit of fun with it. I did it on one of the TWs with that combination. I even stuck a old Ben in there too, just to kind of add a little flavor to it, along with Juhani. That worked out really well.
Okay, let's say you're a brand new player. Let's say Juhani magically, it won't happen, but let's say Juhani goes into a magical node that's pretty easy to obtain the character. Like, do you suggest to new players farm Juhani because she is a dual synergy tank, or do you suggest old Ben?
Well, I would suggest farm Juhani because of the possible event that's coming. But I mean, like, you know, yes.
Well, if you're a new player, you really won't have a chance to do that new event.
I mean, does she take old Ben, or even Kanan? I guess old Ben or Kanan's place on a Jedi team. Most people have old Ben, right? So,
right. Honestly, it just depends. I think it depends upon what kind of play style you want to. Who's running Kanan?
Besides Maurice?
I actually one of the choice in when I was doing TW, I think it was last month, was a choice between Kanan, Juhani, and Old Ben. So I like Kanan myself. I've used Kanan quite a bit. I've split up that Phoenix team.
Kanan's very good as long as the opponent isn't using special damage. Like his resistance for a tank is just abysmal. It's awful. That's why he's not good in the meta, because all of the Jedi do this special, and Hermit Yoda Hermaster Yoda just chops him down because he has no resistance whatsoever. It's all special damage. So that's why Kenobi's better, because it's pretty easy. But
he makes good for like a B or C team, especially.
Oh, he's very good. I love him. I have a Zeta on him.
Oh yeah, because there's a lack of some decent tanks, and he makes for a great tank. You're right. If he's not on the meta, so you've got your meta tanks, you've got your B and C team tanks.
He's pretty good on a gen team too, because he counters and has offense down is basic, so you got a chance to put offense down and expose every time he counters. And much like Baze, Baze has the speed down, so like if you're using Baze somewhere else, I mean he can slot in on your gen team and kind of serve a purpose there too. The Kanan show.
I was able to get my Django to 7 stars in Gear 11 the other day. So
I'm still working on that. I kind of got distracted by Bastila Fallen, and I need to get back on track.
Django is my dude. I put a Zeta on him.
What'd you say?
I put a Zeta on his unique, like that all enemies get they're not revivable on his turn.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, his I'm excited about him, but anyway, I mean, he's a character I was like really glad to start farming. So, I mean, I'm kind of like, again, with the Millennium Falcon, I had a feeling 2 months ago, we talked about this, that this ship was coming and to start farming for it, but and I could have easily started to, you know, put my work in, so that it would have been a lot easier for me to at least get a 5-star unlock, kind of like you this time around. But, you know, I didn't want to really subvert my projects, because again, I'm not, you know, I felt like the ships aspect still isn't so developed in this game that it's going to really hurt me to not have this ship for the next 6 months. I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they add some new game mode or some new raid that involves ships, and the Millennium Falcon's basically a requirement. But I feel like by the time that happens, the event will come back again. You know what I'm saying? And
well, the ship's so brand new too. We might find out in a week, next week, that those that got the 7-star Falcon just destroy the 5 and 6-star. So you know what I mean? Like if everyone in your chart is a 7-star, and you're trying to go for the 5-star, and you can't quite get there, you know, it might not be the end of the world, because you might not be able to use it anyway.
It may not be worth it, right?
I mean, I'm trying to be. I mean, that's very optimistic, but I'm just, or maybe pessimistic. I don't know, but just you know, who knows? We're gonna find out a lot more about what counters it, the perfect team for it, so on and so forth. You might end up seeing him, you know, complement some other completely different team, like a Thrawn Cap, or a, you know, who knows? He loses a lot of benefits, but it doesn't mean, you know, you can't use them elsewhere. So this will be, it'll be fun. Ships is kind of keeping my interest at the moment for the first time
in a long time
ever in this game. Like I didn't even like it that much when it first came out. Like
one of the nice things is it wasn't that long ago that we didn't even really have enough ships to fill up for all the capital ships. So, you know, like for TW, we always had to go in like with maybe only 2 or 3 reinforcements, because you just didn't have enough to be able to attack if you needed to. So now we've got a lot more ships, and it's a lot more mix and match, and it's a lot more fun to play with. I'm enjoying it, and I'm not a big ship person.
I tell you what, that last TW, those first order bonuses, they were kind of underwhelming to me.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. I forgot there was even a bonus for first order ships. I was like, okay, totally forgot about that.
I placed I placed my arena team, because I'm like, oh, I got first order, I'll try to make something work with them. Well, I won by the skin of my teeth. I was like down to, you know, yellow health on my I think it was the crappy first special forces one. I won with a final basic attack. I was like, oh, this, I didn't really notice too much health and stuff. I mean, maybe I didn't do it properly, but that could be the case too. But you know, I was hoping for a little more from them.
Right. I didn't even get a chance to do any ships at all. We had a little defense filling issue on a couple of my guilds, and so each of them I had to put in all 4 of my capital ships. So I was like, wow, I didn't even get to hit anything.
Yeah, well, I'm feeling this. I don't know. I've only got mods on 2 capital ships right now. And I guess I'm gonna, I don't know. I guess you really don't need them for this Grand Arena. But I guess, do I need Akbar? And do I need Tarkin for 3 vs 3? Akbar, yes. Tarkin, I don't know if I'll need Tarkin for 3 vs 3, to be honest.
Well, that's really where the Millennium Falcon's going to come into play here, is in Grand Arena.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Because if you don't, it's going to be between people that do it, because they count the points for ships so much. They compare, like, I mean, like, remember that one where, like, you have to do 6 battles or 7 battles to get, like, 500, like, I think it was 500 points, and then you got, you got like 300 points for 1 ship battle. It's like literally half the points of 6. Like, they count ships so much in Grand Arena, so it's like defeating the territory for ships is equal to, like, you know, over half of the points that you get for defeating, you know, in some cases, you know, 6 teams.
Right.
So
this is the 3 vs 3 Grand Arena, though, so there shouldn't. I'll have to double check before I start talking. Yeah, there is no ship there. You know, they put the little icons down here in the bottom left, and this one just says the 3 vs 3. If you go in and look at the board, yeah, it's just 3, or for me, it's 3 squads, I think. Probably 11 or 12 teams. of just three-man teams. So I don't think there's gonna be ships this time, which is good because we need some practice. So this, we need some practice on how to beat it before we start just going into Grand Arena.
Right. Oh, come on! We can just jump in and go for it.
But offensively, the Rebel fleet's gonna be very, very good for Grand Arena because you're gonna rack up a bunch of points because all of that purple protection that your ships get, like the damage has to chew through that before it gets to their actual protection. Mm-hmm. So if you just fuel all this purple protection on your team, the chances are you can win with all of your ships full health and full protection. In theory, I mean it's probably the easiest team to do it with. So, but it is the most difficult to defeat right now, anyway. Who knows? Maybe Resistance Pilot comes out and she's the superstar. I don't doubtful, but
how do you know it's gonna be a she?
Resistance Pilot?
Sexist Maurice. It could be a male. Okay, Resistance Pilot. Just because Resistance Pilot is a she. Sorry, I'm thinking of
man. Long ago on the Lord Skunk show, I think you guys had this debate. That's where I got it from.
Resistance Pilot is a she, but I was thinking Rebel Pilot. I thought you said Rebel Pilot was going to come out. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Resistance Pilot is a she, but that'd be interesting. So every pilot in this game, except for the TIE Fighter pilots. I'm surprised that there isn't a Rebel pilot in the game yet. I mean, that they have a Resistance pilot. We have the TIE Fighter. We have two versions of the TIE Fighter pilot. But no Rebel pilot.
Like, how would you release the Rebel pilot? Are you going to have, like, the Rebel pilot marquee event? Like,
no. Free in the Galactic War Store. That's we haven't had anything like that in forever. I mean, the last time they did that was Jawa Scavenger.
Yeah. So helpful. Thank you.
I mean, that was it. I mean, they should release a couple of free characters like that. I mean, listen, Darth Malak, Juhani, we pay for those characters, but the character, like the occasional generic character, they should throw an occasional, Trooper or something like that. I mean, they should release Scout Trooper and put him into the Galactic War Store, or put him into the Squad Arena Store. Give me something to farm somewhere else. I'd like it in the Cantina Store. That'd be cool. But I think they pretty much said that they're not going to do that. But they could add it somewhere else, kind of like they did with Young Han. I mean, they just put him in the Guild Store. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Here, have your own node, even though you're not really required for anything at all. Have your own node to further trick people into thinking something's coming from this movie.
He was like the easiest farm ever. Like, I remember, he was so fast. I had him 7-star. Felt like in a couple weeks.
Well, they really gave us the business on those Han Solo characters. They really did. I was convinced the Legendary is coming for that.
We've gotten the business worse than that before, my friend. Let's be real here. I mean, remember Rhodium characters. Remember Mother Talzin.
Oh yeah, I remember Talzin very well.
Oh, you really had a Fracture? Since when is Thrawn in this? Oh, I didn't realize Thrawn is in this one.
Yeah, but I mean, just with C-3PO and Chewbacca now, like this used to be a relatively difficult assault battle for those two Omegas. This one was kind of tough if you didn't have the very specific characters. Now look at you, you got it. What, you have it on auto?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can just mow through it. Oh man, what a screw up! Given Rebels expose their basic attack.
This is like super easy now. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Literally auto 3-star with this team.
If there was any challenge in PvE content, just get yourself Zeta Fed, C-3PO, and any Rebels, and you can just pretty much auto anything.
Auto 3-star, the mythic tier of that event. That's
yeah.
That's awesome. All right, let's move on to some meta and then we'll do the top 5. So we got the meta report pulled up here for top 10 leaders at rank 1. The only thing that really I notice here, you know, we're not going to spend too much time on the characters part because, again, there's not a huge difference in the meta report for traditional characters. We're going to jump into the ships in a moment and kind of discuss the Millennium Falcon's impact. But we've got Revan seems to be at around the same number of characters used. Traya seems to be still taking up a larger. I think she's taking up a larger piece of the pie than she was before. And I think that obviously CLS is starting to see a significant increase in use. You're seeing he's continuing to grow as more people are gearing up their Chewbacca's and their C-3POs. I think some people kind of had a quick situation where they were able to get C-3PO from the event, and then they were able to quickly, right after that, during the holiday season, there also get Chewbacca on his second go-around. And then they were stuck, you know, now getting 2 high-level characters, 2 legendary characters to Gear 12. So you're starting to see some of those characters really show up in Arena all over the place. I just faced a couple of teams running that squad myself. I mean, are you guys seeing the same increase? I mean, is this representative of your arena as well? You're seeing a lot of CLSs?
I am seeing a lot of CLSs, and I purposely target them right off the bat because I can take them down in less than 1 minute.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Like
they're so fun to play against.
Yeah, Han goes, the end. That's pretty much how it goes. Like offensively though, they're awesome. I've tried both CLS teams, and I tried that cheesy Finn team, and it works awesome as well. But you know, it does work offensively. You can beat Revan.
Yeah.
You have to tweak it, you have to practice, but you can beat Revan. You slaughter Traya with CLS Chewie Han. It's just it's no contest. As long as you don't, you have to kill him though. You can't leave pingers laying around because all your health is going to be, you know, 1 from all the assisting and stuff. But yeah, it's very good. But if you guys don't have Revan, really need to get Revan. Revan is the meta. Revan is hands down the best team you can have right now.
Mm-hmm.
And even if Darth Malak or Darth whoever comes, you know, Revan will still be good. You're definitely going to want him. Otherwise, you have an entire faction of Jedi. He really brings the whole bunch together.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, we have a question here that the Millennium... well, not really a question more than it is a statement that the Millennium Falcon is not good on defense. Is that true?
It's good until Akbar uses his special tactical genius move thing for the ships. Then Han will, when it's Han's turn, he will do the outmaneuver move back to back. Like he'll do it once, and then you know his cooldowns refresh, so he'll do it again. Okay. Which is awful. That's terrible. They really need to fix that because that's bad, really really bad. But besides that, I wouldn't call it awful. I mean, it's, you know, I guess it depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is our top 10 squad members. I'm sorry, top 10 leaders at rank 1. Again, not much difference here. Asajj is at the top, you know, rounding out the top 10. Bastila, Maul, Mother Talzin, Rey Jedi Training, and Palpatine, and Finn. Finn is now the number 4 leader in the arena, even though he's only got a small slither of the pie. That's kind of interesting to note, but yeah, really just all counters to the other teams that you see here, but really the majority of the arena is either Revan, Traya, or CLS. So now moving on to the top 10 squad members at rank 1. Not much difference again in the top 5. We're still seeing Grandmaster Yoda and the Jedis, followed by Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Sith. But that Chewbacca number continues to grow. So I think we're seeing a lot more Chewies, and Chewie seems to be the staple of that Rebel team. So we're seeing Chewie in both Finn teams. We're seeing Chewie in CLS teams. Are there any other teams that you guys think Chewie could fit in besides those two?
I got a couple guys running them on Revan teams to guard Yoda. And I don't know if you faced a really well modded one, like Yoda goes and you're down a character. Like like if Yoda's clocked and Chewbacca's all hitting super hard, you're getting wasted if you don't go first. So it's very good for climbing with your Revan if you don't want to spend 3-4 minutes fighting mirror matches the whole way up. It's a nice way to speed that up. Put Chewbacca in for GK.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only other team I can imagine that works in.
No, but if you look at it here, there's only, there's very few, what is it, 850 CLS, 110 or so fins. So, I mean, that's 960. That's a huge chunk of Chewbacca, 1139 there. So,
Right. So there's only.
I thought about running Chewbacca with my Revan team just to see how it was going to go, because it's so hard to do the mirror match teams because it could just go either way in a split second. So I might do that.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, personally, I still think that there's a benefit to having a 5th Jedi on that team. And I'm even tossing around the idea, like when I get Juhani done, I mean, I'm really going to try that out and see how that does. But, I think that's the best team in Arena right now is still the standard. It's funny to say standard now, but Grandmaster Yoda, Revan lead with Bindo, Kenobi, and Bastila. I mean, that's just the team right now that drives it home, and you can beat any team in Arena if you have a well-modded Jedi team like that. So you've just got to kind of play smart. Sometimes people make the mistake of going for the wrong character because characters like Jolie Bindo, if you don't take Revan out of the equation, will continue to regen his protection, and you'll just play this never-ending game of knocking Jolie Bindo down to a point where you're about to take him out, and then he regains all of his health and protection before you get a chance to attack him again. And before you have a chance to take another character out, he's already revived all the other characters that were down. So you have to choose your kill order correctly too. That's important. But that's our top 10 squad members at rank 1 for the arena. We're going to now move on to the top 10 squad members at rank 1 for ships. So the Houndstooth still holds tight here at number 1. Again, the Millennium Falcon event is not even over yet, so it's tough to say how far up the ladder here that ship is going to climb. But as you can see, making its first appearance here on the meta report at number 5 is Han's Millennium Falcon with 3,246 ships at rank 1. So, do you think that this overtakes the Imperial TIE Fighter and TIE Advanced over the next week or two? What are your guys' thoughts?
Oh, I apologize. I missed the question because apparently everybody cut out. So I completely missed the question. Oh, so it wasn't just me. Okay.
No. Stream dropped for a second. Well, it's crazy. It's already up right behind the 2 Empire ships. I don't think it's going to climb up. It'll probably climb up to 2nd because the more people that unlock the Falcon, the more people are going to be using Home 1, taking down that Chimera a little bit. So it could feasibly be the 2nd ship in a few weeks.
It could be a few weeks, yeah, probably.
We'll see. I don't think there is a paywall on that ship, so I don't think it's going to overtake the Houndstooth. I don't think it's going to be in everyone's squad. But
no, it's not going to overtake the Houndstooth. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know what happened there. We lost for a second there. We lost the stream, but we're back. Yeah, I mean I don't think it's going to overtake the Houndstooth, but I think it's definitely going to overtake the Imperial TIE Fighter and TIE Advanced. And what other ships do you think you're going to start to see on this list kind of move up in accordance with that? I think we're seeing the Home 1 get a lot more use as well, right?
Yeah, I think the Home 1 is going to be back in the meta at the moment. Mace Windu's ship definitely had its time in the spotlight and probably still could if you don't have a Millennium Falcon. And it does okay with a Millennium Falcon, but the Home 1 definitely is the best ship for it at this time, I think, in my opinion.
I wonder if I think does this only account for your starting 3?
Yes.
It doesn't make any. I'm assuming it does, because it doesn't make any sense that Ghost is on it, but the other Rebel ships aren't. When Ghost and Phantom go pretty much hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see the Ghost climb a little bit. I think we'll actually see Biggs' ship climb a pretty significant amount. You know, if you're on a newer shard, it's simply no way to get Houndstooth 7-star like out of the gate unless you just wail hard on packs. Like you're not going to have that ship, but Biggs is readily available. You can get it in a couple spots. Very easy character and ship to get. So it's kind of like a starter kit for the Falcon. I think we'll see that climb a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. And do you think that the Home 1 will eventually overtake the Chimera as the #1 capital ship?
Right now it is. Well, at least in my shard it is. I mean, all you see is that's all you see, the Home 1s.
I think a solid counter will come out eventually using the Chimera.
I agree with that because the Chimera is still really good at taking out the Hounds.
Yeah. Just see, I haven't used. I don't think there'd be a situation where I use the Chimera's bomb. I think I usually just waste the Houndstooth now, just as is, with all that extra crit damage those Rebels get. It's silly.
It is.
I don't know. Yeah, a couple weeks it could end up being like a balanced ship meta. You know, who knows? It's been out for 3 days. People are playing with their new toys. You know, I don't know. We'll see.
Let's see. Let's see what kind of impact it's made on the reinforcements. So now we're going to take a look at the top 10 reinforcements at rank 1. TIE Advance still holding strong at #1. The Phantom 2 is #2. Biggs Darklighter is #3. Slave 1 #4. Cassian's Ewing, Lando's Millennium Falcon, TIE Reaper, Anakin's ETA-2 Starfighter, then Plo Koon and Sunfax Geonosian Starfighter. So, I think we're going to see more Cassian's Ewing. We're going to see more Biggs Darklighter. We're going to see more Lando's Millennium Falcon. I think we're going to continue to see an increase in some of these ships here as more people attain the Millennium Falcon and get it ready to go. Because bear in mind, there are some people that also have the Millennium Falcon that are still working on gearing up Chewbacca, that are still working on getting, let's say they've used all of their ship materials or ship abilities or their ships, their reinforcement abilities. They're still kind of gearing up a good Rebel team because some people have not been really paying much attention to Home 1. Okay, some people have been really focusing on Empire and some of these other ships that have been really in the meta for the last couple of years. And now, maybe they were focusing on Mace's ship. Maybe the Home 1 was on their back burner, and the Home 1 needs a ton of credits and a ton of, ability mats to be leveled up at this point, and they're just kind of getting that ship up to snuff so that they can really run the Han's Millennium Falcon effectively. But I think that's kind of where that's at. So I think that although, you're looking at, kind of just some preliminary numbers right now as to, what the usage is for some of these ships and, where the Millennium Falcon is placing on the overall, the depth chart for the top 10 squad members at rank 1. I think that that's going to just continue to increase over the next couple of weeks as more people get it prepared and ready to go.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. I've been working hard on my Ahsoka too, because of East on that team.
Ahsoka's great. Her Dispel's great. She's got a great ship. I mean, I hope Ahsoka, the character, eventually gets a rework too, with the rest of those Jedi. At some point, I hope that Padawan Ahsoka and Ayla Secure or some of those other characters get some love. But We'll see. We'll see. Maybe a Zeta. That'll help our ship out too. But
yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that's our top 10 reinforcements at rank 1 for ships. We're going to move on to our top 5 now. And this week we are doing top 5 tanks in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. We've done top 5 support. We did top 5 attackers. It's only natural that now we move on to tanks. So, Maurice, who do we have at number 5 for top 5 tanks?
Number 5 is Kylo Ren Unmasked. This list is a lot. You pretty much put any of these guys, move them all around however you want. The crew is coming in at number 5. He is pretty faction specific. Definitely has the best lead for the First Order, but you can use him as an all-purpose pre-taunting tank. He does have a 2-turn stun, which is pretty unique in the game. Just countering character tenacity down when he counters, which is pretty awesome. So you're going to spam tenacity down all over the place. Does regenerate a lot of health every time he's attacked. You can build him a multitude of ways. Pretty squad specific on how you want to build him. Just a decent character. I would say above decent. He's very, very good. But there have been some more tanks to come out, and he has kind of fallen just into a First Order only type of role.
I think more of a TW only kind of role is really the main thing you got to say there. It's like he's just not really an arena viable character. The First Order is just not an arena viable faction. He's not really viable as an outsider in another faction because his synergy really only works with First Order and only really as a leader. So he is a very cool tank, and I'm very glad that I have him, and I'm hoping that at some point, wink wink, as we get closer to the Episode 9 release, they're going to release other First Order characters, wink wink, like wink wink, like maybe Supreme Leader Snoke, that make this team better and make him, kind of get a boost in viability. Because I think that overall, yes, besides the fact that he has a great ship and that he is, a great tank, he has a stun that is 2 turns. He can dispel. Overall, he's just a great character. His leader ability is literally bonkers. Okay, I mean, if there were just some better characters in the First Order, his leader ability is awesome. So maybe if they add the Praetorian Guards, Supreme Leader Snoke, some other characters from the First Order faction that could kind of boost up the First Order's viability overall as a whole, you'll see this guy kind of move up this list a little bit. But at number 5, I think Maurice makes a good point with this making a lot of sense. What do you think, Avadash?
I like crew. I don't know if I would have him at number 5, but he's definitely faction specific, more or less. But on a couple of my little baby alts, I do have him at 7 stars, and he does save the day when it comes to galactic wars. I think he's still good, though, and can be plugged in just about anywhere, at least on the dark side, as far as I'm concerned, as a tank that can be used when necessary, because we just don't have a whole lot of tanks, especially on the dark side.
If we have like some sort of future raid where there's not just absurd amount of tenacity on the boss, he'll come in real handy. He'll be a very, let me rephrase. I guess they'd have to be. I guess bosses are immune to tenacity down, or all the Sith bosses. So if the next raid they're not immune to tenacity down, his value is going to shoot way up because it'll be just a constant source of tenacity down for your team. So that's kind of why he made number 5 over the honorable mention. Honestly, just simply tenacity down. That's it. But
yeah, but I mean, it's just one of those things that, some of these tanks on this list are tanks that you can kind of interchange into different teams. Even though they may not be the best tank in the game, you can utilize them in other squads. Like, you could throw another tank into that faction, whether they have the same synergy or the same faction tag or not, and they still work with, let's say, a Jedi team or a Sith team. But you know, Kylo Ren really only works with the First Order, unfortunately, and that's just how it is, at least in my opinion. But that's our number 5 tank in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Moving along to our number 4, we have Zalbar. So Zalbar is, I'm sure, a character that Maurice is going to talk about for a little while here. But before I let him go, I just want to add that I agree. I mean, he's definitely a great addition. I think that you'll see more use in Zalbar as more people attain some of the other KOTOR characters, the more recent Old Republic characters like Cartho Nassi, Canderous Ordo, Chuhani. Some of these other characters kind of increase their viability. They're also going to have to be tagged up with characters like Mission Vow. Mission Vow Zalbar combo is actually a lot more devastating than a lot of people think. I mean, if you put a Zeta on Mission Vow and you gear them up, Zalbar and Mission Vow can be a deadly combination. And you know, he does have a very nice health pool. You know, he can you know, basically call in Mission Vow for assist with any move that he does when he put a Zeta on her. And you know, obviously his area of effect attack and taunt you know, help out a lot of squads. He's just an overall great taunting tank, and definitely I think will be a more used character over the next couple months, especially if they add some more characters to the Old Republic faction. What do you think, Maurice?
He's a countering tank. A countering tank that gets 10% health back every time he uses basic attack. And if you do put that Zeta on him, he'll get protection back for every dot on the every dot too. So you could, in theory, get all his protection back if you really planned your comp out right? So that alone is pretty significant. He's got a massive health and protection pool. He is semi-faction specific. He's probably going to be required if you want to run a Karth team. It'd be silly to run a Karth team without him. But he is slotting in nicely under these cure leads at the time because of that, again, countering. And when he crits, he'll get protection back and crit avoidance. So, and with his unique, he gets crit avoidance as well. So that's going to take you up to right around 100% crit avoidance. Very close to it. I'd have to look at Kira, but that's 100% crit avoidance, stacking defense, massive health protection, countering to recover even more health and protection. Pretty phenomenal. But he is, for newer players, you could almost skip the ridiculous Sith Trooper grind now because he works great on a Treatine because the Sith are constantly be going below 100% health, which I didn't even mention. He's a passive taunter, right? So he passively taunts like Kenobi every time a character goes below 100% health. Using these Sith teams, they go below 100% health, but then they all get their health back because they're hitting debuffed enemies, and Zalbar is just basically taunting the entire match just as Sith Trooper was. You know, so you do lose a little bit of, you know, the countering on Sith Trooper will heal your team up a little bit. But besides that, I mean, Zalbar's better in every department over Sith Trooper, in my opinion. But so he does have some flexibility, and he's just a great tank. Because everyone's automatically married him to mission, but he's great as a standalone on any team because just like Kenobi, he's a passive taunter. So
I agree with that. I mean, you know, I actually use him in Territory Wars in Grand Arena as a tank in a Rex team, and I win a lot with that team. I use him in mission behind a Rex lead, sometimes with Wampa and you know, additional character. It's kind of a throwaway team. I use Rex as kind of a leader that I can use because Rex is such a viable leader. I mean, you can use Rex with any combination of 4 other characters, and those 4 other characters are going to be better with a Rex lead. So, you know, he's one of the characters that I use that's left over because I don't really have a faction specific. You know, my Kira is not too good, and but I mean, he's definitely a great tank. I agree. What do you think, Abby?
I really liked him. I was able to use him a lot more this TW because I finally got him geared up and gave Mission Vow like a Zeta. So I was able to qualify the team and be able to use it. And I really enjoyed it. Not just on watching it on defense, but also on one of my accounts, I was able to use it on offense this last time around. And I was really amazed at what Zalbar could do. And was very impressed with his tankiness.
Yeah, passive taunt and countering is fantastic. But that's our number 4 tank in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Moving along to our number 3 taunting tank in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Who do we have here, Maurice?
Darth Sion. Darth Sion is a character we all know and love. He got AoE Dispel. Again, a passive taunt. Anybody with pain, anybody inflicted with pain, has no choice but to hit him. And he has Held by Hatred, which is one of the best moves in the entire game. It takes a while to get it going, but once it gets going, he pops the Held by Hatred, basically gives him a revive, and then he starts. Your tank turns into the bulk of your offense after he pops that Held by Hatred. He gets blah 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 blah. Yeah, 25% critical chance, 100% defense, and 100% offense when he has Held by Hatred. So that's so you kill him, you get rid of the Held by Hatred, but then he gets all of his health back and 100% turn meter to more than likely spam it again. So it's a very annoying tank. He very flexible in terms you can build him uber tanky, or you could build him. You can almost even build him with offense, crit chance, and just hope he survives that first initial onslaught. And then you got Held by Hatred, and you've got yourself just a bazooka. So it's very, very fun tank. Definitely, I think he's the best dark side tank for sure.
Well,
100%.
One of the things that
I agree.
One of the things that sets him apart is really his ability to do damage. Okay, and that's because when you're looking at a tank, typically the average tank in this game, they give you benefits in other areas of the game. Maybe being able to cleanse, maybe being able to passive taunt, being able to basically divert the attention to them, so you can kind of save your high damage DPS characters throughout the game. But honestly, his huge benefit is that not only does he have that taunt, but he can hit your characters for a hell of a lot of damage. And when he has hatred, he can hit so much harder. He has the ability to go through foresight with his AoE Dispel. So, I mean, if you're facing a team of Jedi, Maurice, are you doing like a scratch off over there, or
No, that's not me, man.
okay? Okay. He can do go right through foresight. So being that foresight is such a prevalent thing with Jedi teams and Grandmaster Yoda, being able to go right through that with his area of effect attack, Torment is really, really awesome. And yes, once he gets going, he can do a ton of damage, and that's really what sets him apart from other tanks, is that he's not just a bystander out there. He's not just taking damage; he can deal it as well. What do you think, Abby?
He's one of my favorite tanks, definitely on the dark side. When he originally came out, I had him set up for offense and crit damage, or I should say crit chance, and hit just absolutely great. Now that we've got the Revan and some of the other factions that can hit a little bit harder on him, I've put him a little bit more tanky so that he'll survive. I also put a lot of speed on him, so he'll get that special up a lot faster, and then he's just that much harder to take down. But definitely, if I'm on a Revan team, he's besides Traya, getting down Traya, he's my next target. And I try to take him down before he gets that special up.
Yeah, speed on him is very, very important. The faster you make him, the faster you can almost make the rest of your team. Because especially if you clock him 1, 2, 3, you can dispel. That way, Traya can use her isolate on whoever you want. Because what you don't want Treya's isolate to be up and you stuck behind a pre-taunt. Like, you have to use your isolate on Sith Trooper or Kenobi.
Right.
Like, you don't want to do that. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, agreed. But that's our number 3 tank in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Moving along to our number 2, we have L337. And honestly, this was Maurice's choice, so I'm going to let him go first.
This character is awesome. It is kind of faction specific, but we've all fought it in TW. We've all fought it in Grand Arena. It is just a machine. It just has stacking max health on its basic and stacks throughout the entire battle. And when she's prepared, she's a countering tank. So every time you hit her, she counters, does an insignificant amount of damage, lays a debuff down, and then gives herself 10% max health. And her heal is a 50% heal to droids or to scoundrels. And so, much like Nihilus, this max health pool can stack, you know, it's well into over 100,000 health if you mod her right? So, I mean, every time she uses her heal move, you're essentially going to heal every scoundrel and droid all the way up to full health again. Is a pre-taunter that can self-modify and continue to taunt for the first 4 turns of the battle. Every time you hit her, she passively cleanses a random scoundrel ally, which is just, that applies to all the scoundrels, all your light side scoundrels, all your Zalbars, your missions, all of your bounty hunters as well. So it's a very, very good, arguably the best cleanse in the entire game. So, and then of course the Zeta, that's kind of droid specific. That's not why she makes the list. Just it starts 25% max protection. Just very, very difficult to get through. And yes, some of you guys might argue L337 shouldn't be second, but this one, once you get her, you got to get her up to gear 12, and she gets that med pack and she gets the armor plating, and then 2 strength balls on the gear 12 plus side, which is going to just further fuel her strength, just giving her loads and loads of health protection.
Well, I agree. I mean, like, you know, she has, you know, a ton of benefits, but besides that, I mean, if you think about the game itself at this point, there are, after this last 12 months of this game, there are so many scoundrels in this game now that, I mean, you really have to start thinking about your scoundrel teams. I mean, they were really kind of a throwaway team when you first thought about them back when the game started. I mean, we used to make fun of Cast a Spell all the time about, you know, scoundrels and how much he loved them, and you know, if he ever hears this, I mean, I don't think he plays the game anymore, but he was somebody that was just you know, such a you know, so pro scoundrel, such a person that literally just invested only in scoundrels, would spend money just on scoundrels, you know, and they were so faction specific originally. There were so few of them originally that it was just, they were a laughable faction. But now, after the last 12 months, with the addition of Nest and Kira and all these other, you know, L3, I mean, they're now really a force to be reckoned with, and a team that really has a lot of viability in territory wars and Grand Arena. So, I mean, it's just something you have to think about. Is that you, Abby?
Is that me? What?
Keyboard typing?
Yeah, Mrs. Busy Fingers over there.
I am so sorry. It's a quiet keyboard too. I'm so sorry.
Tackety.
It sounds like. I mean, it sounds like somebody's like furiously typing over there. You know, it's like, you know, very sensitive microphone. Either a very sensitive microphone, or you hate your keyboard.
Oh, the funny thing is that being here, I can't hear it. I must have a super sensitive microphone. I apologize for that, but I can type at least 125 words a minute. So
that's a good thing.
No, Felipe, Poe is not number 1. Yes, I did make this list, but Poe is not number 1.
No,
I promise.
No. But yeah, L3 definitely, I think, deserves some mention here. And I think she's kind of interchangeable, in my personal opinion, with either Sion. So, I mean, a Sion and her could be 2 or 3. But number 1 is, without a doubt, unquestionable. And who do we have here, Maurice?
Oh, you guys know. GK. Still the ultimate plug-and-play tank. Really, you know, we're seeing him a lot again now with these Revan teams. But you really can put him on any team. He makes them... You got a tank on any single team. Just a passive taunt. Anytime anybody's crit, not only does he taunt, he gives them crit immunity. And Got the AoE assist. Got a cleanse. Got a retribution element. And then as leader, while it does benefit Jedi and clones more, we all remember the GK Barris teams. It does. There is a slight amount of defense and other benefits that it will grant all the allies. So it is kind of a universal leadership ability on the defensive end. Gives himself foresight, just more foresight for the Jedi. Just all around, just a great tank great to have. You know, we're seeing some of the best teams in P2. You know, a lot of people are using the GK team still if they don't have Revan. GK or Boba leads, the ones with Wampa and Hermit Yoda and Sabine. Those are still very popular for the in-game content we currently have. So he's going to be around for forever, you know, for at least the foreseeable future.
I mean, I can't believe that this character's kit has stood the test of time as much as it has. I mean, really, the only other character that comes to mind is Rex, that's been able to kind of just hold out without a Zeta, without a rework, without any love whatsoever. Just a character that still is, yes, amazeballs at this point, without any love whatsoever. I mean, you know, obviously he could get a Zeta at some point and give him some love and make him a little bit better, but you know, he gives retribution to the entire team. He calls all of his allies to assist if they're buffed. He cleanses the team. He has a passive taunt. I mean, he just has so many of the mechanics that are still viable today that even though, you know, like I said, he hasn't had any rework and he hasn't had any love since his release, he's still by far the most, I mean, still now because of the Jedi, specifically because of Revan, the most used tank in the game, and also just a great character that can be used in almost any team. So even if you were somebody that decided that, let's say, Old Ben was a better option for your Jedi team with Revan, General Kenobi can be used on a Sith team. General Kenobi can be used on a Rebel team with CLS. General Kenobi can be used on any team. I mean, you could use Rex lead and use General Kenobi in TW. You can use General Kenobi on any squad, and he's going to get the job done. And that's just something you cannot say for every other tank on this list. He's somebody that is usable in every team. I mean, you can just basically plug this guy in, and he gets the job done time and time again. And that's been the case. You know, you thought he was down. You didn't think he was going to see his face. You were going to see his face back in the meta for a while because, you know, we had Baze Malbus and pre-taunt. You know, bang, he's back. You know, you didn't think you were going to see his face because we had Shore Trooper. You didn't think you were going to see his face because we had... Now, I don't know. Did those characters come out first?
Yeah, if you think about it, like if we would have made this list, think about a year and a half ago, it would have been crazy to make a top 5 tank list without Shore Trooper and Baze in it. But here we are. Neither one of them made the list. You know, so it's crazy how... But yet Kenobi is still hanging in there, so...
Kenobi's number 1. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But that's our number 1 tank in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And as always, we have an honorable mention. Some of you have speculated here. The correct answer is Bossk. Now, Bossk is by far the best scoundrel / bounty hunter in the game, in my opinion. Now, I know some of you are going to question that, but I think that his leader ability really makes the scoundrel, or sorry, the bounty hunter faction work. And obviously having that taunt, being able to call all the allies in for assist, you know, he's just somebody who provides so much benefit to the entire team. Also, his payout is one of the easiest to attain as far as a bounty hunter is concerned. So his leader ability still retains its value, even though they nerfed it a little while back. I still think he's a better leader than the likes of, let's say, Jango Fett and some other options that you have out there. What do you think, Maurice?
Well, I mean, you can make a case. Him and Crew are kind of interchangeable. Just they're both kind of their factions leader / tank in the same spot. Very similar in what they do for their factions. He does have a small amount of standalone value as he is a tank with 163 speed, but his hunting, his hunting party The assist move is bounty hunter specific, so that loses a lot of its cool, if you will. If he just like basically shoots a net and stuns it for one turn, that's his whole turn. That's not very, And then, but like you mentioned, his leadership and his payout, his bounty hunter specific elements are top notch. Him as a tank, just an all-purpose tank for any of your teams is not the best. I would say crew is better for an all-purpose tank, but just like Ramon said, in terms of bounty hunter, he is the bee's knees. He's got tons and tons. Just the Zeta just fuels them with so much health protection. A lot of people use it on defense. It's a great team for offense because you can get all your health, all your protection, finish the match with all 5 characters, fresh basically. It's a very good offense team for Grand Arena. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, Abby?
I like Bossk, and his bounty does activate like one of the fastest, which is great because and once he gets that, he's extremely difficult to take down on a bounty hunter team. I have not used him on any other team except the bounty hunters, so I can see how he really needs that synergy with the rest of them to be able to be a great tank. With anybody else, he's just a so-so tank on that. He's good as an honorable mention, and he might be good as a filler as a last resort if you aren't using any bounty hunters on that aspect of it. That's what I think.
I just think that he has, a lot more. I think he makes that faction a viable faction, and that's kind of what makes him important. And also, as somebody mentioned here in the chat a little bit earlier, his ship is the #1 ship in the game, so that has to kind of be factored in a little bit as well. So even though it's not enough to make him, let's say, the #1 tank or even the #3 tank in the game, because there just are better options as far as being a taunting tank are concerned, he does have kind of the total package because he offers the best tanking ship in the game, and also he has the ability to make an entire faction better. So in that regard, yes, he's definitely a great tank and just a great addition to the game. But that is our top 5 tanks in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I want to thank Maurice, as always, for his contributions to the top 5 and helping me put this list together. And also, I want to tell you guys, if you like this kind of thing and you want to see more top 5s, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do smash the like button. This is that time. Like the stream. It helps us out. It lets us know that you guys are interested and you like what we're doing up here. Otherwise, we're going to go back into some gameplay action here. Also, if you want to get notifications on when we go live, we do typically go live around midnight to 12:30 Eastern Time, 9 o'clock to 9:30 Pacific Time on Sunday nights, and click that bell icon to get notifications when we go live. But we're going to go back to some gameplay here, and while we do that, Maurice is sleeping, but we'll go into some arena, and while I do that, I want to have the Q&A segment. So any questions that you have, any topics that you'd like to discuss, this is typically that time where we compile those questions, discuss any topics you'd like to discuss on the live show, and we answer those questions now. So type them into the chat if you haven't already. Maurice, I'm sure, has compiled a few already since the beginning. I do want to discuss one thing that was mentioned a little bit earlier, and that was in regards to Supreme Leader Snoke's faction tag. And somebody had asked if he's going to be considered a Sith in the game, and I have to say that I don't think that is going to happen. And let me tell you, do I think that that he is probably closest to being a Sith or closer to being a Sith than anything else, yes. But I think that the purpose of all this stuff in The Last Jedi is to kind of disregard all those tropes, and I think that they were trying to not only subvert expectations, but eliminate that whole Sith and Jedi faction thing. And as much as I may not agree with that, because I think that the Sith and Jedi faction thing is what actually makes Star Wars and makes me interested in the whole entire thing in the first place, I think that's kind of what they were going for, or at least what Ryan was going for. So I mean, do I think that he's going to get the Sith faction tag? No, because he's not technically a Sith. Do I think that they're going to probably change some of that in J.J. Abrams' version of this? Yes. So I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But again, I think that if you're asking, is Snoke going to be a Sith in the game? I don't think so. Do I think that he'll eventually get some sort of, ability in the game? Do I think he'll be, let's say, for example, some sort of other title? Maybe they'll create a different name. Who knows what JJ's going to do for Episode 9? I hope so, because if there isn't some sort of legacy that he creates, like let's say besides the Sith, there's some ancient form of dark side user out there in the Outer Rim that we've never heard of before. Like maybe they create some new name besides the Sith and the Jedi that have been using the dark side as their form of ability. Let's say let's say there's some new faction that they create. I hope that that's the route they go, because if it's just going to end up being let's say, that Snoke is just a First Order character and he gets no influence from any other history, then that's going to be ridiculous. And the fact that, and that's really the main thing about the whole Snoke mystery that I guess upsets me about it first and foremost, is that, okay, if they weren't going to explain the character at all, because they felt like he wasn't as significant as a character as some of the other characters in the story, okay, well, I buy that. Okay, they killed Snoke off in the second movie, so maybe he's not as important as Kylo Ren or Rey or anybody else in the movie. But what is important is that we know where he comes from, because all Star Wars is based upon these two factions. Okay, the Sith and the Jedi. And for those of us that are fans of this story, that's such a huge thing to us, knowing like that there's a history behind where these two religions or factions came from. Okay, the Sith are a historical faction that believed in the dark side of the Force, and the Jedi are a historical faction that believed in the light side of the Force. If there's going to be some other, because Snoke did not specify himself as a Sith, and he uses the dark side, so if there's some other faction that uses the dark side besides the Sith, we do need to know what that is, because he didn't just learn this stuff, willy-nilly by reading a book, or at least I hope he didn't. Okay, so they have to explain what that is, and that's the main mystery. It's not who Snoke is. I mean, he could have been a farm boy in some planet. I mean, who cares? Okay, I don't care what Snoke is. I care what he represents, and that is like, is he some other kind of dark side user that we've never heard of? Is he like just an ancient Sith, but he decided to, let's say, just kind of move on from the old Sith ways, and now he's just kind of rogue? But we need to know that, okay? Because that's really what is interesting about the story. That's really what kind of compels us to know more about the character. Is like, where has he come from? Why is he not even discussed? I mean, it's just one of those things that, again, I feel like there was a huge opportunity there to build on the lore, possibly create opportunities for future TV shows and other segments, other movies. And, if Disney's going to own this property and they're going to create other films besides the saga films, I think we need to know what Snoke is and where they come from in order to maybe get some sort of a story at some point after Episode 9 that explains the origin of whatever that is. So if, let's say, he's, ex faction, like some new type of dark side user, we got to get that origin story from where they come from. Maybe there's some other, religion that comes from outside of the Outer Rim, and we've never heard of them before, and that's fine. They don't have to be Sith, they don't have to be Jedi, but just something that explains like where these characters come from and what their, what their overall, what their history is. Because at some point, I'd like to know about that. Anyway, moving along. Do we have any questions, Maurice?
Yeah. Yes, we do. Oh, Mr. Wonderful.
Somebody disliked the stream as soon as I started talking about Sith and Jedi. So
it was me. I'm just kidding.
I hope so. But for whoever out there did dislike the stream because I was talking about Sith and Jedi, I don't like you. Okay, and no, it's okay. As far as that goes, I hope that you understand that I'm just passionate about it because it's one of those things that everybody has their different opinions about it, and everybody's looking for different things out of the movies and the shows and things like that. For me, the most important thing is kind of background. I'm into like what it's all about. What the whole overarching theme is, and I think that that's kind of an important thing when you're talking about Star Wars, because literally this is something or a show or a movie that's been debated about, and topics that have been debated about for decades. So I hope that more people understand that it's one of those things that we need to kind of find out more information about it. It's not that it's not that I need to know every little bit in detail about everything in a movie, but I would like to know more when you're introducing a character that's literally doing things that we've never seen another character do before, about like where that came from, but that's just my opinion. We got a second dislike. Love you guys.
That was Avanash.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Maurice.
Mr. Wonderful. With getting first in Arena and Fleet, how many energy refreshes should I do for Ordo and Badstilla, respectively? Well, if you're not worried about anything else, I want to say, dude, but I guess a lot depends on if they put another character in the cantina like they did with Mission L3. If Ordo's the only character from this batch that's going to be in cantina, you really don't have to spend 3 on him, the 3 refreshes, because you're going to finish him long before you finish single hard node farms like Bastila Fallen. Maybe do 1, 2 for Ordo now, and then do, if you're really concerned and want to have them all done, you're going to want to probably utilize a 25 crystal node refresh. So you can hit it 16 times a day. And I guess a lot depends if you're prioritizing and trying to panic farm these bounty hunter ships. If Badstilla is your only hard node farm you're really concerned with, and you don't need any energy refreshes too, but chances are you're doing some other hard nodes, so you'll probably have to maybe spend an extra 50 on the crystal refresh. I don't know, 2 for Ordo, refresh Badstilla's node, energy as needed, I guess. Maybe, and I would still do at least 3 refreshes on mods. Doesn't matter what's coming. You still should do at least 3 if you're getting first in both.
Can you repeat the question again?
He gets first in Arena and Fleet, 900 crystals a day, I guess, with 950 plus probably about 1,000 crystals a day. He makes through everything. How many energy refreshes should he do for Ordo and Badstilla, respectively?
Well, that really depends on how much money you're willing to spend. I mean, I think that you should at least do. I think you should at least do 1 of each. Again, that's not I think too much. I mean, if you're getting good ranks in Arena and Ship or Fleet, then you should be able to do that. But obviously, I mean, ideally, you would do both the 25 refresh and the 50 refresh for hard nodes, and then do the 3 100 refreshes for Cantina. But again, you're talking about their, almost 500 crystals. So it depends really on where you rank in Arena daily. If you're taking rank 1 in Arena every day and you're taking top 5 or top 10 in Fleet every day, then I'd say spending 500 crystals a day on refreshes makes sense.
On a side note, I have 140 tenacity on Canderous Ordo. Is that a little overkill? Okay.
Not at all.
Next question. Stonewall. I have 39 blue speed mods with 9 secondary speed. Should I slice them because they might turn out to be better than a mod with... missed the rest of the question. Well, if you got 39 of them, that's going to take you a long, long time to do them all. I guess it depends. If you're looking for PvP mods, you're probably going to want to focus on secondary. But at the same time, you don't want to take the ones with 9 secondary speed and junk on them. You want to prioritize, the stuff you really need. I would suggest really looking through your health circles and seeing which ones you have. If they have 9 secondary speed with maybe like a flat offense of 70 plus, that would be a roll in speed and then a roll in offense. Those are going to be good. 9 speed, 70 offense, or 9 speed, maybe offense and offense percentage, or like 9 speed. You want to just basically min max, kind of like maybe the 9 speeds with double protection instead of like a 9 speed with 1 health, 1 protection. Just kind of stack the mods to be better for specific characters, I guess, if that makes any sense. Offense, crit chance, health, and health percentage are the ones I've typically like. Health circles, and then of course if you've got maybe an offense cross, maybe take a look for offense crosses. Health triangle and crosses, while they're not super useful, they do come in very, very handy on your Night Sister teams, the health primaries. A lot of teams now, actually, like your Vandor Chewbacca, your L3, your crew. I mean, there are lots of characters. Barriss, any character that you want to use with a Barriss comp, they all benefit significantly from those 6E health primaries, so those are important. Be picky with them, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to roll 9 secondary speed and just it's like tenacity percentage, defense percentage, and health percentage. I mean, if you miss speed, you've got pretty much an mod that's never going to have a chance at making an A, B, or C team. So you have to think long term, I guess, because these 6Es are going to turn into 6Ds, 6Cs, and then eventually 7s. So you don't want to. That's the worst thing you can do, is just try to keep up with the Joneses and just put like all your resource into 6E mods just so your Thrawn capital ship can go 1 speed faster. I mean, yes, it helps you in ships short term, but when the mods start going up to the next tiers, you're just going to be even further behind than you are with no 6E mods right now. So it's important real long term, you want to think any mod you take up to 6E, you have to be comfortable to take it up to 7. So if that makes any sense. I'm just rambling now. Sorry.
Yeah, well, the best thing to do is just, to take a look and see what your secondary make a like to see or you would like to keep, be it may be offense or a certain percentage of, say, protection or something, but also a good combination. Write down what you want and break it down and say, oh, gosh, I'm going to sell it because it just doesn't have what I need. Then you're going to have a very specific and very nice mods by the time you're done. And so you can focus on what you need, not what you might get. So I think that would work really well.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, if your inventory is capped, then that's different. But if you got some room to play with, just work on a few. I would, and I would actually suggest deciding which ones, like Avinash suggests, make a list. Any mod that meets those requirements, do all your blues at once, right? Because if you have all speeds of 9, chances are you're going to get, let's say you get lucky and get 14 speed. Well, and you take that one up to purple and then gold, but then the next blue one you start, you get a lucky 6 roll. And then, you want to take them all up to purple and then make an even tighter decision on which ones to take to purple to gold. Because the ones you take to purple will be nice depth, even if they miss speed. That's why the other stats are important, because they can provide depth for your, your C, D, E, your first order teams, your bounty hunter teams, your Ewok teams, whatever. Not necessarily your arena and top notch teams, but the teams that are very serviceable and helpful in Grand Arena. So, Maurice is preaching the long dark. I don't know what that is. Sorry, GK.
Hopefully,
you guys ready for another one?
Hopefully it's a good thing. Yes.
All right, DSP. Legendary or Hero's Journey characters with these characters. What? Okay. Legendary or Hero's Journey with these new KOTOR characters. We kind of touched on this earlier in the stream.
I think it's legendary.
Yeah. Legendary for Malak, perhaps, if he's not the marquee. Anything with Revan in the title of the character will be a hero's, villains, whatever the case is. They even named these journeys something different, didn't they?
Yeah. So
like ancient journey or something. I might have made that up.
Ancient journey, yes.
Okay.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was blank journey. They changed the name of it. So.
Good grief.
Yes.
Just to throw us off. We're not going to tell you which one, but we're just going to call it ancient. or ridiculous, maybe, or something like that along the line at some point.
Master KT, where are you putting C-3PO in 3 verse 3? I can tell you where I'm putting mine, but you're gonna make fun of me.
Is it with Finn?
No, it is on defense. It's GK, or not GK, it's Old Ben lead, C-3PO, and Captain Han.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, exactly. I don't know where to put him, so I just put in some annoying defense. Pretty much.
That's not a bad move.
Just hoping to stump somebody. Well, now that I've announced it on the stream.
Yeah, fool somebody because it's going to look like it's going to be easy to take down when it's really not.
Yeah, because my Captain Han is pretty pimped out. I like Captain Han. I got 3 of the Gear 12 pieces on him. I like him, but he's very. If you have a GP of less than 3.5 million, you have no business having a Gear 12 Captain Han. So don't put him in your favorites list unless you just get bored. Don't do that. It's not going to help you very many places. Not even in TV anymore. Boy, that would really chaps my bum. They got us good with that. Everyone, you have to have this character. Psych. Now that y'all got him, you don't need him anymore.
That's crazy,
yes. It was a bug. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. I'm just kidding. I have no idea why we don't need him anymore. Carthageani. This is from our buddy Takedown. Carthageani go free to play this Wednesday or next week? One of the panel's thoughts.
I think it's not going to be until... I think it'll be in February. Listen, their cadence is not an exact science. It's like an approximate. So, do I think it'll come out soon? Yes, but I think it'll probably be more towards like the beginning to middle of February, and then bear in mind that as soon as those characters are released, 2 weeks later, we're probably going to start to get word about the legendary event, if there is one.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to want to farm the shards, right? You want to farm the shards, but if you don't have, you do take down, but this is for the masses. Like if you don't have, like if you just have those older Old Republic characters, like I was doing, I was helping some of the roster today. They have all the characters Gear 7, they're ready for Revan, but they're by no means usable, right? So, I mean, if you don't have, you know, very nice supporting cast like Mission, like Zalbar, Parth and Canderous are going to do you very, very little good. I mean, they're not going to help you too much. Get the shards, we don't develop. I think Juwani has some standalone value as she's flexible with the Jedi and the Old Republic. I think her and Darkside Bastila, Fallen Bastila, are probably the two most usable in terms of just overall utility. You will want to do Mission, or you will want to do Zalbar as well, but he's, I guess, the old Republic guard. But get the shards, and then long term you'll get whatever blank journey character we might get, and then you will have a serviceable team very, very long term.
Yep.
It's a very good team. Canderous is very, very good. He's very, very good. He's kind of underrated, I think. I'm really excited about getting him ready to go. I just need I got him gear 11 plus 4. I just can't put any more pieces on him. I'm ready to go. Anyone else?
I missed the question, to be honest with you. I was kind of focusing on
I was like, oh shoot, I almost forgot the question because I've been focusing on your gameplay here.
Oh, you can't be doing that, Abby. You got to get out of there.
I know.
Kidding.
What was the question again?
We'll just move on to. We got a lot of questions. Basically, what are you guys' thoughts on farming? I forgot the question too. What are your thoughts on farming?
Karth and Juhani.
Yes.
Karth and Johnny. See, I did listen. I just forgot momentarily.
Yeah, well, basically, you guys are very politely telling me I talked way too long. You got it.
As soon as Karth and Juhani become farmable, I mean, I think that they're going to be viable options for both the Kotor faction and Jedi faction. So I think that they're important characters. I think that the Kotor faction overall has been very, very pleasing to farm because typically, you know, when we get these events, these legendary events, like, for example, Raid Jedi Training, when we had to farm the smugglers, you get characters that are almost unusable afterwards. I mean, you know, there's really no viable faction for... I mean, you can use them in a scoundrel team, but for Smuggler Han and Smuggler Chewie, there's not really a lot of viability there. Bastila, Jolie... became two of the most viable options in Arena right now. So they were absolutely great characters to farm with Revan, you know. Same thing goes for T3 if they ever rework Jedi. I mean, if they ever rework droids. You know, T3 is going to be a great addition for the droid team. I think the same goes for Mission and Zalbar. Those are two great characters. And I think that Canderous, Juhani, you know, I think that basically every, you know, Kotor character has its place in the meta at some point, and that's really something that we've never seen out of a faction like this. Like, let me pull them up here. Hold on. Karth, I think, is a great leader for the Old Republic. I think Dark Bastila obviously already helps out the Sith, but I think that she'll be a viable option going forward. I mean, I think she'll be great for the Sith in the future as well. So I think that overall, you know, all these characters you're going to want to farm. Juhani's going to be, I think, interesting for Jedi. So I think that all the characters you're going to want to get, even though they may be for an event, I think they'll have viability outside of that event as well. So.
The Karth team is going to be very, very good. It's just, it shouldn't be in your direct focus. You know, there are other teams. If you're a newer player, you should probably get the shards if you can, but don't. I wouldn't go nuts on them. You know, I would develop your Revan team first, your Sith team first. Maybe pick bounty hunters or first order. I would arguably probably do them first, because I mean they're worthless in the under Karth anyway, and Canderous, they're not going to be very good in the Sith raid because I mean all the massive tenacity, they're not going to help you too much in that department. Mission and Zalbar are very good under Akira lead, but not so much a Karth lead in the Sith raid. So
I have to go to the restroom.
So,
all right, we'll just knock out some questions in.
Knock out some questions. I'll be right back.
All right. All right, Abby, you ready to answer? We're going to lump a lot of these together here.
Okay, let's go for it. Let's do a marathon.
A lot of them are asking the same thing, just slightly different here. This is basically about a new capital ship. Thank Kylo, we are due for a ship raid in a new capital ship. What if the raid reward for a ship raid is a new capital ship? And then, let's see, there was another similar one. Okay, yeah, let's just go with that one. What do you think about a ship raid and the capital ship being the reward?
That would be very interesting. I actually kind of like that idea, but at the same time, honestly, we need a capital ship a little sooner than just having to do it through the raid, which, dependent upon, it could take a lot of time to get for a lot of people, because we desperately need more than 4 at this point. So I would say maybe release a capital ship soon, but maybe have another one that we could attain in a raid, in an actual raid. Down the road, maybe?
Yeah, we got, yeah, that's the thing, though. I mean, if it's a traditional Sith raid, or like a raid, that's 4 phases, and we have 1 capital ship per phase. You know, so if there is a ship raid, you know, maybe they would release a new capital ship behind like a semi-paywall that dominates the new raid. And then as Thane and, you know, suggested, maybe we get a 6th one from the raid itself. If there was a ship raid, maybe we get that Vader one that they tried to make it very obvious. It's like, you will not be able to play this ship after the event ends.
Right,
so
right.
We'll see. But
it'd be really nice to come up with some interesting looking capital ships as well, instead of the same looking one. And I realize that in the movies and stuff that a lot of them are real similar and such, but it's really nice to throw something in that looks really nice instead of just giving it a new skin and then calling it, oh, it's this ship. But I would like to see the Devastator in there. I would like to see Grievous's ship. I would like to see some of the others. And I'm sure that they're going to be putting those out down the road. How fast they put them out, that's another subject.
yeah, this kind of goes along. We'll go to the next one here. It actually is the next one. It's from Ryan Blue Thunder. You think it's a point to consider that Nihilus' leadership has no protection and can't score crits, and the Sith fighter can't score crits. Potential incoming Sith capital ship Ravenger meta. So,
I really don't know.
A Sith capital ship, some sort of panic farm, is not out of the question, because they really slipped this Sith fighter and B-2 bomber in under our noses when something cooler was coming out, like Chewbacca and Revan, and, you know, like, they just kind of slipped these ships in. No real huge announcement. You know, we did get access to some footage and got to play with them a little bit, but the Sith fighter, you know, at the time it's super underwhelming as is. But now this B-2 bomber comes out later, and you're like, oh, Sith fighter's not too bad now. This B-2 bomber is a very, very good ship. So, you know, and that's going to be another panic farm. Followed, you know, everyone's going to be panic farming these bounty hunter ships now, and then they're going to switch over to these KOTOR tunes. But then the Sith ships are kind of going to be neglected and forgotten about with all the other panic, and they're like, boom! Introducing Snoke in his capital ship. It's like, oh.
Yeah, and everybody's going to go, no! Oh my god, I have to panic farm again. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, especially with like Nihilus' talents and stuff like that how the other ships would be able to come out, especially the capital ship if it's a Sith ship. On that, it'd be, they're sneaking some things in, and it's going to be interesting to fill in because you need to have 5 ships to be able to complete a faction, basically. And I think all of them don't have that 5th ship yet.
We got 4 Sith, and we got the advanced, those 2 ships, the fighter and the bomber, and then Darth Maul's ships. So there are 4 just like this event. So it's B-2 bomber Yeah, B2 Bomber has days, could be good. Yes, Piano Jonathan. B2 Bomber on paper looks to be a great counter to this Han meta. So if you guys are missing Han, you've already missed him. Maybe include the bomber in your farming. Maybe, I don't know. But there is one more capital ship question, and this one comes from, I believe it was, let's see, Hammer and Hank. Good old Hammer and Hank. What's up, man? Would you guys have rather had a new capital ship or the OT Millennium Falcon?
I mean, I think I would have rather had a new capital ship, but I'm okay with the OT Millennium Falcon too. I mean, it's a ship that should be already in the game.
Yeah.
So.
In terms of interest in the game, I think a capital ship would have been better. I think a capital ship would have been more entertaining, I guess, because now, you know, just one ship that, you know, is pretty much going to be facing the same team over and over again. At least capital ship gives you all new options, right? A whole new team, whole new meta. People, right now, it's just Akbar with all the rebels. Or, feel so bad for you, Mace enthusiasts. Your time in the sun did not last very long, did it, man?
That lasted a whole 5 minutes.
2 weeks ago, I'm sitting there praising how good these Mace teams are, and now, oh, poor Plo Koon. Poor Plo Koon. This poor little fella.
Poor guy, he just doesn't catch a break, does he?
No, people leveled up their Plo Koons and all these obscure characters. Like, if you're a brand new player, you have no business having 5's gear 12, unless you run Mace, and then you got an excellent ship, and now it's just like, ugh. Just, poor Plo Koon. You talked about Ahsoka earlier, or Ahsoka. You shouldn't be using Jedi Counselor ever, but if you went all in with him, ugh. Rex, those,
How
anyways,
how is Jedi Counselor's ship now? Is it still
lame?
Inferior. Yeah. Hanging out with the Resistance pilot in the cantina.
Yeah.
Having some drinks.
That's awesome.
It's about all they can do. They're kind of on the sidelines on a football field. They're the ones that sit on the bench the whole time.
Ryan Blue Thunder asked another one here. Should I consider Sion Zeta over Crew, Bossk, Veers, or Aura leadership? That's going to depend really on your roster. All of those,
right?
Maybe with the exception of Aura, I would do Bossk before Aura, just because it'll help you in the ship department too. It really depends, I guess, on what factions you have the best developed. If if you have Darth Traya, if you have Darth Nihilus, I would definitely do Darth Sion. You know, Crew's not going to do you much good. Bossk isn't going to do you much good. Veers isn't going to do you much good if your supporting cast is all like Gear 7, Gear 8. I guess I would suggest whatever you have the best developed. Crew and Veers are probably going to serve you the best in PV or like raid environments. If that helps you make a decision, I'm not sure. I guess we really have to know the rest of your roster, man. You guys got it. Okay, you guys got suggestions on Sion, Crew, Bossk, Veers, or Aura?
Honestly, it depends upon what you're running in, what you need to run in TW, what you need to run as your arena, even. Because, you know, like you said, you know, if you've got your Traya team, then yeah, Sion needs to be having that Zeta because that's going to be great. If you've looking at more towards the TW aspect of it, then it could be a possibility of either Bossk or Crew, depending upon what your guild wants out of you. If that's one of the basic teams that you need and that's what you've got left. But, you know, to be able to be viable, you also have to have the gear on it as well. If you don't have the gear, then whoever's the best geared and the most viable faction, that's the one you want to put the Zeta on.
So we're talking about Zeta's on either. I forget. I remember the question. I read it in the chat earlier.
Okay, well he just responded in the chat here. He says he got 5 Gear 12 troopers and then 5 Gear 12 bounty hunters. So Veers or Bossk?
I would say to Bossk. I mean, let's see. You got 5 Gear 12 troopers, 5 Gear 12 bounty hunters. Yeah, I mean, is this the leader or is this the?
Both. Do both. If you have Gear 12 troopers, get yourself that Veers. If you got all Gear 12 bounty hunters, get yourself that Bossk.
Veers,
sure.
Veers Zeta is more important in Dark Side TV, I think. And
yes, very important in Dark Side TV.
Bossk is better for territory wars. So you have to weigh, your options based upon where you need the most help. I would say if you're not having any problems in territory battles with the existing trooper team that you have, then I would focus on your bounty hunters. If you're not clearing the content in territory battles, then I would say focus on that. But I mean, bear in mind that Veers is probably only right now, and those troopers are probably only viable at this moment for territory battles, whereas Bossk and those bounty hunters can really help you out in a lot in territory wars and Grand Arena. So I think that because of the amount of help you can get for the bounty hunter team overall, I would say, yes, of course, do both long term, but in the immediate interim future, if you want a direct answer, I'd say Bossk. Okay, and Maurice is going to say Veers because he's a bounty hunter fan and he's probably working on his No,
that advice you gave was great. I mean, I just they're only good for TB, but if you can clear all those special missions without that Veers Zeta, definitely do Bossk first. That was good. That's good advice. I like that.
That's all I'm saying. But I mean, if you're going between the two, I'd say Bossk first for TW. But again, if you're having trouble in TB and you're letting your team down there, then I would definitely go with Veers. So that's the way I'd look at it.
All right, next one.
Yeah.
This one comes from Chaco. What y'all use Rex for in 3 vs 3?
That's
teams for Rex in 3 vs 3. Any takers?
Well, Rex works well with pretty much any combination. I mean, to be honest with you, because his leader is so good. But I would say if you had to pick, I would go, Rex with Wampa. Who would you say would be the third there? Rex, Wampa, and who else?
Tank.
I was going to say, like, a tank. Definitely take maybe Sunfac.
Sunfac's good. Yeah, Sunfac's a good one. Yeah, that way, because that team really doesn't have a dispel. So, yeah, that's a good team, actually. Rex, Wampa, Sunfac. Assuming you don't... if you have a really pimped out Wampa, your Wampa doesn't really need too much help in 3 vs 3.
True.
The Wampa and Nest can solo quite a few of the 3 vs 3 defensive teams, but that's probably a good one. Just Rexley, I don't know. You really need all. You can't the clones. You really can't put the clones underneath them. What are your Rex, Echo, and 5s? What are you gonna do with that team? I don't know.
They're gonna get wiped out in 2 seconds. Is what's gonna happen.
And Cody is. If you're gonna use all clones, I just think Cody's better. But Rex, honestly, what I do with Rex is I have my preset teams, and then whatever I have left, I kind of throw in behind Rex, like whatever kind of situational type. My Rex goes to waste a lot, actually. Kind of sits on the bench, and I don't end up needing him. I probably should have put him on defense. I think Wampa Sunfac. I like that team. That was a good suggestion. Let's see. Ryan Blue Thunder, Zeta Next, Bossk crew.
We got a donation from somebody too.
Yeah, we did. We got GK3 gave us a super chat.
Thank you very much, GK3, for the donation. We appreciate that very much. What was his question?
I don't think he. I looked. I don't think he really asked a question. Following that, he just kind of hooked it up. Yeah, no question really. Is that Ramon's account? This is the question he asked. Yes, this is Ramon's live personal account.
My favorite, my best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no question. Okay. All right. Sorry, I just figured, we should make that a priority if he.
Yeah. No, I looked at just Okay, Bossk crew from Ryan Blue Thunder.
Bossk. And I know that there's some debate there. It really depends because both really actually affect the same area. We have been talking about how Bossk benefits you in territory wars. So does crew. So you really need to determine there. Now, is this like deciding who the Zeta, or is this like?
Yeah.
Okay, so. What's crew Zeta again?
The leadership.
Yeah.
Let me tell you exactly what part of the leadership
I think
it gives.
I think that crew Zeta is actually maybe a little bit more crucial because I think that kind of makes or breaks the whole team. I think without crew Zeta, you really can't run that team. Whereas like without the bounty hunter Zeta, they're not going to be as good, but you can still run that team.
Yeah. I personally like First Order better. It's purely a matter of preference. It's 1A, 1B. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. Bossk gives you more options, whereas crew, you don't have as many, teammates like to choose from. Like if you're not using the silencer or the houndstooth, I guess if you're using one ship and not the other Zeta, that character. If you're using both, you're probably going to do both. Those are good long-term investments, both of them. You'll do them both eventually.
Right.
Drew Dog, what's up, man? What is the best non-Revan team to beat Revan in Arena, and how much speed do they need?
I think the best non-Revan team to beat Revan in Arena is that Sith team with Dark Bastila. What do you think? Do you think it's CLS?
I think I think a good. Yeah, I don't know. The Traya team is going to be the most, I think, the safest investment. Barring whatever they end up doing with C-3PO, we're still waiting on that. The easiest team without any speed at all is the Finn team, but that is. You're not gonna get in trouble for doing it, but it is kind of an exploit. Now, I wouldn't invest a lot of resources into that team if it's not gonna work. You got Zeta Finn, Han Solo, basically C-3PO, Chewie, and then you can use Princess Leia. You can use Resistance Trooper. It doesn't really matter. Just you got to mod them up. Big offense, crit chance. If you do use, you actually can put potency on them, which is weird, but that will kind of guarantee those exposes from C-3PO, and you just chew through the team. Just C-3PO just goes over and over and over again. You just constantly assist, and you mow them down. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a little bit of practice, but that's a good option with no speed. If you don't have blazing fast speed mods, but seeing as he's a member of Zai, he's got the goods. He's got the goods. Good job, Zai, on our last territory wars. We handled that. We handled those sudden changes really well. That was a lot of fun. I was really proud to be a part of that. Everyone just kind of, buckled in, and we all discussing, chatting on the chat. Just really worked through it. Did pretty well. So I was happy for us.
Nice.
Shameless, just little plug for the guild there.
That's good.
Speaking of clones, boy, man, with those we had a clone zone, and they didn't even touch it. They just went around it. I really wanted to see how well they did, but
we had
cool.
the first two in the front there were all clones, and they wasted every resource that they possibly had to take down those clones. I know my team held. It was a Rex lead. I had Rex lead on them, and they held for 10 defense at least on mine, 50 on another guy, 25 on another guy. And then once they were able to get one of the clone zones down, then they had to fight a Revan, and they gave up. There just was nothing left for them to fight a Revan team. So that's the direction I was hoping they were going.
I tell you what, I totally underestimated how good the Jawas were going to be. That was something else.
Oh my God, that was so fun! Oh wow, I had a blast.
I took a pimped out trooper team down with the old school droid team, the HK-88. I did use B2 instead of 86. And Chief Nebbit and Jawa Engineer. The whole team was stunned. The whole match. It was incredible. It's just oh man, it was great. Oh,
I was ripped. I ripped down Bossk teams, First Orders, troopers, you name it. And I just had every account. I just went in there, saved all my Jawas for offense, and I just ripped through all kinds of different stuff. I had so much fun. I just put it on auto. That's all I had to do.
Like I brought that droid team in just because I was running out of gas, right? I mean, I didn't have too much left. And it went, and they kept dying. They kept stunning. I think the grin on my face just got bigger and bigger and bigger. I was like, oh, this is going to work. I didn't know, never thought that would work in a million years, but it just, oh man, it's good to see HK back on top for one territory war. I will say, in the general mood of the community is they respond much better to boosting existing things instead of taking things away. So I hope they took note of that. The general mood is much better about this previous TW than the voting one. That was not well received.
Yeah,
CG.
I agree.
Yeah. I think this time, though, with the second TW, they had too many factions that had boosts and bonuses. That was a bit too much. And there really wasn't any time in between the TWs to be able to strategize real efficiently. It's great when you're in a community or a guild that has several TW leads to be able to break it down and to be able to get together and do it. But I'm the only one in one of my guilds, and wow, I was so exhausted after both of those TWs that I crashed because I was up half the night trying to come up with different teams, trying to.
Did we lose Abby there?
You're fine.
Okay.
It would be nice for at least, ideally it'd be great when they did the monthly calendar if they went ahead and told us so we could plan a little bit. At least like a week's notice. Like we had 24 hours, like, hey guys, boom. Have fun with your super Ewok, super clones, and, super Jawas. Go, you got 24 hours. Like, just like
right, yeah. And it was just really hard to deal with and to strategize.
It would be. I kind of agree with you. They went a little overboard with the factions, but it would be nice maybe if they were just giving us just like a feast on it. Then maybe they bring back one or two of them for future TWs. Maybe kind of like rotate them in, because then you could build. Not only could you build the team properly, then you could have counters and switch it up. I think that would be fun. Because I do miss those territory wars counters. A lot of people develop First Order for their guild because they were so good with bonus. These Cura teams that everyone has were way better with that crit chance bonus. That was insane how much better they were with the bonus. So it would be nice to get some sort of boost.
Right. And one of the things that I would like to see, instead of having something different every single TW, is to set something for either the first pair of TWs, and if we get another TW towards the end of the month, the other pair, we can do something different, or set something for the entire month. Yeah. So I think that would be, I was so incredibly stressed out and so tired and exhausted that I was just burned out, totally burned out by it. It was fun once you're in it, but no. A little too much for me.
If they make Jawa's consistent thing, that's going to be tough. Abner Dune just said my Jawas are gear 10 for old school mod farming. Most of us have the bare minimum Jawas to get through that mod, crit damage mods, right? So, and then there are some that went all in on them when they were getting the tank raid bonuses.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, what a joke that was. I think the only Jawa anybody uses is probably Dashka for P1. I don't think anybody uses any other Jawas anywhere in that raid. Or Ugnaught.
I remember Ugnaught.
Oh, yeah. And he, at the time, he was super tough to gear because he took like 6 or 7 Rancor gears. It was ridiculous.
Yes.
How hard he was to gear. And people were doing it. It's just like, no, stop. Those poor droid callers. Don't do that.
Those poor droid callers.
Don't just do that.
Yeah. That's
all right, we got a couple more. Looking through the chat. Okay, McFly. I guess he's talking about the leadership. Is Jin better than Akbar?
No.
Yeah. Kind of gotta. Depends on your supporting cast. If you have like Cassian and K2, she's better for Rogue One. You know, like heavy debuffing, buffing characters. But just overall, Akbar is probably more useful.
Yeah, I agree. If you have a Rogue One team and you have Zeta's own Cassian and Jin lead, then yeah, I would say that team is probably the better route because there's more viability in that team right now than an Akbar-led Rebel team. But just overall, Akbar's leader still kind of holds up. It's just he's like a super squishy character, even at Gear 12.
Yeah.
So that's kind of his downfall. But yeah, the Jin lead with the Zeta provides the ability to expose, and so I mean, yeah, I would still say Akbar leader is better, but you're probably going to get more use out of Jin lead right now because of territory battles and territory wars, etc.
Yeah, Jin's kind of required for those territory battles, but Jin's probably better for Grand Arena offense. I think Akbar's probably better for most of the other content just because it's so flexible.
Yeah,
and it's so good because I mean you can just bring one rebel with you like Leia or Han Solo and just use a bunch of non-other rebels that do special abilities nonstop. So it really minimizes the chance to you have Princess Leia going 50, like a coin flip every time somebody goes, she assists.
This is it in a nutshell. Basically, every time a character goes and Akbar, gets to call, because of the Akbar lead, they call it an assist. That makes it better. And also, Tactical Genius is a better ability than any ability that Jin has. So those two things are great. But Akbar kind of lacks in every area as a character. So he doesn't, besides the cleanse, Jin can take somebody's turn meter. She can revive a character. She can give another character 100% turn meter. So in those aspects, Jin is a better character right now than Akbar.
Yeah.
But Akbar's leader ability and some of his skills that he has are better. So that's kind of where it goes, yeah.
Yeah, you'll rarely, if ever, see Akbar as a support character. Like he's just kind of a dud. He just kind of stands there. But
yeah,
God, you got to mod him. to the nines to get him to hit for 12K on his basic. You gotta really pimp him out. But
I mean, I have a Gear 12 Akbar. Let's see where.
I do too.
And
yeah, chat makes a good point about the capital ship as well. So yeah.
And even at Gear 12, I mean, his health and protection is like 48,000 with mods and everything. Now, I probably don't have him modded well, so that's probably part of it, but that's really not much. You know, he'll die quick.
Mm-hmm.
WereGoal128 inherited a G12 Traya account. That's good. How the hell do you beat C3PO comps with Traya? Super tanky. Make them tanky, kind of withstand that first onslaught. Crit avoidance helps. You need tanky, and then you probably want to fracture. I've never really tried it. I fracture Chewbacca, I guess. Is that bad advice? Good advice?
No, I think that's good advice. Chewbacca is probably the best person to get out of the way. I mean, if you could take Chewbacca out, that team is pretty much useless after Chewbacca's gone. Traya at Gear 12, is probably a better overall character still than any character on that team. So, obviously you want to isolate the tank, and you want to take Chewbacca out as quick as possible. Maurice is right. You want to make her super tanky and try to give her as much damage as possible so that when she hits somebody with Saber Storm or her Deceptive Strike, she does a lot of damage. So I would say with protection and offense.
Yeah, if you're looking to counter C3PO teams specifically, I would suggest using Nest or Thrawn on your team too, just because of the Thrawn, and you get the fracture from Thrawn, the isolate from Traya. That can really, you shut down Chewie and you shut down Han. That's pretty much it. So
pretty much a record.
That is it. I thought nope, psych. We got one more here. Dane Sorensen. This is a long one. Let me read it out first. All right. When do you expect them to drop the second set of new Kotor to nodes? The event requiring all 4 to take place. Therefore, the number of shards we should farm per day to be ready. Ramon said earlier, I tend to agree with him. If we're getting something, it's probably going to be at the end of February. It's 3 a.m. here. I don't really have the math in front of me. So,
yeah, I don't know the math per day that you have to farm, but basically, listen, you're going to have to farm Bastila and Canderous as much as possible right now. If you can do the 25 refresh, the 50 refresh for Bastila, and then do the three 100 refreshes for Canderous and Cantina, that's probably going to put you in the best position to be ready. Because bear in mind, whatever you do, if you unless you've saved a ton of crystals, okay, from your arena, and let's say you have like 30,000 crystals, 35,000, 40,000 crystals saved over the last couple of months, you're probably not going to get this character free to play. Okay, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money on packs. Okay, and that's just how it is. When the time comes, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have a lot of Bastila shards and a lot of Canderous shards. You're not going to have a lot of Karth and Juhani shards. So you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be buying packs, and some of you are going to be buying packs where you're continuing to buy packs even though you have a 7-star Bastila and a 7-star Canderous, and a lot of those shards are going to go to the shard shop. So, again, all you can do is do the best you can to be prepared with those 2 characters, and then as soon as Juhani and Karth Onasi become available, start farming those characters as well. Bear in mind,
assuming we don't get a fifth one, let's say the event's in 5 weeks. Well, I just pulled a number out of my rump here. You're gonna need 7.14 shards a day of each of those 4 characters. So that's 3. You're gonna probably, let's see. So you'll definitely have to refresh the hard nodes at least once. Probably twice. Yeah, you probably have to refresh the hard nodes each twice to be safe. They'll give you a little more than what you need, or exactly about what you need. So you have to refresh each of the hard nodes twice, and then the Canderous, if he's the only Cantina farm, he's going to be the easiest, as long as they don't throw like a last second fifth one in there, like they kind of did. Like here, farm mission and T3.
Yeah,
this one.
I mean, it's possible, but I think it's going to be these 4 plus a character that's already in the game. So I think it'll be like these 4 and
It
Revan,
could be.
So if you don't have Revan already,
oh, that'd be dirty.
Yeah,
that'd be dirty.
if you don't have Revan already, be prepared to have that. And then on top of that, you're going to need to start saving crystals now if you haven't already. To farm some of these characters maybe with packs. And do some refreshes daily, because otherwise you're going to be behind a tremendous paywall, and it's going to be very difficult or expensive to get it done. So I would say, just make sure you're as prepared as possible, and if you're okay with spending a little bit of money, it'll probably be relatively easy. But if you're in a situation where you do not have the ability to spend any resources other than the free ones in the game, you better have already saved a ton of crystals, and also on top of that, be continuing to save that and farming these characters daily, and then continue to do that with the new characters when they drop, and then and then hopefully, the packs are relatively similar cost to what they were for the Revan event. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, and I will say it's unlikely, but there is a chance if they do like a faction pack, it will include all the Old Republic characters. I don't think it's likely, but it's possible. So I mean, your chances of getting the 4 that you need are you only got 1 in 9 chance of getting. Yeah, 1 in 9 of getting the
So right. I think with what Maurice is saying, you may not want to get these characters like Bastila and Canderous to 7 stars necessarily. Like if you're at, let's say, 6 stars, if you're at, let's say, 5 stars, almost 6 stars, you may want to hold off, because if you may have to buy that pack anyway, and it may make sense to just start bumping your resources into Karth and Juhani at first, so you can catch up with them a little bit, and then when the packs come out, you can start to invest a little bit, and you're not going to be like kind of just wasting those shards for Bastila and Canderous when the faction packs come out, etc.
Well, what I was saying is there's a chance the faction packs, the Old Republic faction packs, could include missions, Zalbar, Jolee, Old Bastila, T3.
That's true also. Yeah.
Which would be unfortunate, because then the value of those packs, if you want to get them, go way down. So I mean, it's almost more efficient to refresh a hard node 3 and 4 times, and then it would
that would be so disappointing if they did that.
Yeah. But yeah, just try to stay on your toes, guys. I mean, that's part of the game. We tend to panic before the actual panic. That's what makes this game so successful, I guess. So you gotta always be prepared for anything. If anything, we learned that last week with all this TW madness. So
I also hope all you guys bought that $10 pack if you're really considering this as well, because it gives you kind of a boost. I'm already at 4 stars with all these characters, so it gives me a little bit of a head start to kind of start working. That's 30 extra shards you have to farm for each character. So
I bought the one for Karth and for Juhani. Funny story, I put off my Bastila to the last second, fell asleep, didn't finish it. So I have a 2-star Bastila John Fallen. Yes, I didn't manage to unlock her, and then I guess I fell asleep in the middle of playing like the 3rd or 4th or whatever
right
it was.
That happened to me with Lando's Millennium Falcon. I had 0 shards for the Lando Millennium Falcon. I missed the event entirely. I made a video about it, but I didn't have the shards for it. So. But, all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. We're well into the 2-hour mark here, and, I want to thank both Maurice and Abby for, sticking it out late with us here, and, I want to thank all you guys for sticking it out late with us here, so we can dive into all these topics. But I definitely appreciate everybody's feedback, and especially the all the love we've been getting on the stream. Thank you also to GK3 for the donation, and for everybody's time here. Just kind of sharing their thoughts and adding the experience that is the live show to all the rest of the people here listening and contributing.
Yeah, a lot of good chats, a lot of good people in the chat tonight giving good advice. So helping us help the cause.
Absolutely. We will be back next Sunday night, same time, same place. You'll see Maurice and TMoney on the Galaxy's Edge live stream on Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then
yes,
you will see I believe either me and Maurice or me and TMoney on the Jedi Academy stream on Reality Skewed Gamers channel. Both links are in the description, so check that out if you're interested. But we look forward to seeing you guys next week, and may the Force be with you guys. Thank you guys for everything, and have a good night.
Take mods off Mace.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.